Okay, I think we're running here. I'm going to try it out here at least. Yep. Couldn't I fix the lightning condition less so the screen would be less? But no, it wanna be. No, that works there, but doesn't work there. Oh, give me a break. Yeah, well, typical. Because it will of course heat up the phone more faster when it's. That's typical. You have the thing to control the light conditions and all that, and all of a sudden the application of course overrides the settings, right? Because that's typical. Anyway, I just made an account in regards of this ChatGPT. I wanna, in regards to this AI, satanic nonsense and all that. Usually, you have digital things in regards of intertwined with satanic evil. See video settings. Is there any way to the light conditions, or does it really want to have the camera API? I don't know what that's settings manager maybe in regards of save blah blah restore save settings. That's more camera controls, touch pause shutter. I just want to close down so I don't need the light conditions when I have camera preview. They must be here. Preview size, match photo size, maximus preview size, ghost layout, zoom, show angle, pitch, battery show time, free memory, audio level, show grid. I was like, I just don't want it to have the light turned on. Is that too much to all this automatical nonsense? But anyway, let's see, the video settings should be 806 times 600. Critical battery check, flash while recording, video frame, blah blah blah, video battery, looks, whatever. We have some issues in regards of heat issues. So if I now it turns the whole thing up, right? It's like that's typical. You can't, everything just nonsense all around in this wicked world. You can't just get what you want. Okay, so I fixed the account. So I wanna see if because sometimes there's holes in things in the beginning. So maybe this actually will. I've never tried this ChatGPT thing, and I didn't really want to do it, but let's see if it actually knows who the Antichrist is. If it's actually going to be honest, because the Antichrist, of course, is the papacy. So let's try to ask this AI, do you know who the Antichrist is? Okay, let's see. As an AI language model, I don't have real-time information on personal beliefs. The concept of the Antichrist originates from religious and eschatological belief, particularly in Christianity. According to some interpretations, the Antichrist is a figure who opposes Christ and is associated with evil and deception. The identity and characteristics of the Antichrist vary across different religious and theological traditions. However, it is important to note that discussions about the Antichrist are often speculative and subject to individual interpretations and beliefs. Who did the Protestant believe Antichrist was? Let's see if it's honest. Let's see if it's honest. This. Oh, let's see. During the Reformation era, many Protestant theologians identified the papacy or the Roman Catholic Church as the Antichrist, or the embodiment of Antichrist. This belief was particularly prominent among the early Protestants, reformers such as Martin Luther, John Calvin, and other leaders of the Protestant movement. They argued that the papacy and its teaching deviated from what they considered to be the true teachings of Christianity, and they pointed to various aspects of Catholic doctrine and practices as evidence of this belief. It's important to note, however, that these views were specific to certain factions of the Protestant movement and not universally held by all Protestants. Furthermore, over time, some Protestant denominations have moved away from explicitly identifying the papacy as the Antichrist, preferring to focus on broader theological differences. Yeah. Okay, let's see here. What do I want to ask it? So, does the Bible pinpoint the Roman papacy as the Antichrist? Let's see if that's okay. Does the Bible pinpoint the Roman papacy as the Antichrist? The Bible says that not explicit name or single out the Roman papacy as the Antichrist. Oh, was it? Okay. The concept of the Antichrist in the Bible is complex and can be interpreted in different ways. The term Antichrist appears in the New Testament, specifically in the letters of John. 1 John 2:18, 1 John 2:22, 1 John 4:3, 2 John 1:7. These passages describe Antichrist as someone who denies that Jesus is Christ and denies the Father and the Son. Different interpretation of the Antichrist have emerged throughout history, including some that associated the Antichrist with specific individuals or institutions. During the Reformation, as I mentioned earlier, some Protestant theologians interpreted the papacy or the Roman Catholic Church as the Antichrist based on their theological and political disagreements. However, it's important to recognize that this view is not universally held within Christianity and represent a specific interpretation held by certain groups or individuals. Biblical interpretations and beliefs regarding the Antichrist can vary among different Christian denominations and traditions. Okay, let's try. Do you know that there is 4 beasts in the book of Daniel? Daniel, that represents 4 kingdoms. Or ruler. Let's try to ask. Do you know that there is 4 beasts in the book of? Can you mention what the last beast is? What the last beast is? Okay, mention what the last beast? Or mention what nationality the last beast is? Let's try it. So, do you know that there is 4 beasts in the book of Daniel that represents 4 kingdoms or rulers? Can you mention what nationality the last beast is? Yes, you're referring to the vision of the 4 beasts found in the book of Daniel in the Bible, specifically in Daniel chapter 7. In this vision, Daniel sees 4 great beasts emerging from the sea, each representing a different kingdom or ruler. These beasts are traditionally interpreted as symbolizing 4 successive empires or kingdoms. The first beast is associated with the Babylonian Empire, which was ruled by King Nebuchadnezzar. The second beast is connected to Medo-Persian Empire, which followed Babylon. The third beast is linked to the Greek Empire under Alexander the Great. And finally, so the third beast is linked to the Greek Empire under Alexander the Great, and then it fixes into 4. And finally, the 4th beast is often associated with the Roman Empire. And finally, the 4th beast is often associated with the Roman Empire. The 4th beast representing the Roman Empire is described as exceedingly strong, devouring and crushing everything in its path. It is a diverse and powerful empire, different from the preceding empires. It's important to note that the interpretations of these beasts and their corresponding kingdoms may vary among different biblical scholars and theological traditions. Okay, so if the last beast is Roman, if the last beast is Roman, who is the Roman king and ruler today? So if the last beast is Roman, who is the Roman king and ruler today? That's interesting. The Roman Empire as an ancient empire ceased to exist in its original exist in its original form centuries ago. After a series of political, social, and economic changes, the Roman Empire eventually declined and fell in the 5th century AD. The Roman Empire encompassed various emperors and rulers throughout its history. In the present day, there is no Roman king or ruler in the same sense as emperors of ancient Rome. Okay, let's see. The modern nation of Italy, which is the successor state, the modern nation of Italy, which is the successor state to the Roman Empire in terms of geographic location, has a constitutional republic with a president as its head of state. Italy, like many other countries, has gone through numerous changes in its political structure and leadership over the centuries. It's important to distinguish between the ancient Roman Empire and modern-day Italy. The term Roman today usually, the term so-called Roman today usually refers to the historical and cultural legacy associated with the ancient Roman Empire, rather than a specific ruler or political entity. Okay, så lad os se her, hvordan vi stiller spørgsmålet, om man vil. So, So the do you does the so now we have to find the last horn of the fourth beast of Daniel. Where would he? Who proclaims? Okay, so now we have to find the last horn and the beast of the number 666. Oh no, sorry. Okay, the last horn of the fourth beast of Daniel, and the beast of the number 666. Of the book of Revelation. Where would he be today? Who proclaims himself Caesar in our days and sets himself above every other spiritual and political authority? Do you know? Jeg ved ikke, om jeg skal skrive, do you know? Nej, det er jo NAI og så videre der, whatever. Lad os se, hvad den siger. It's important to approach discussions about prophetic interpretation with caution as they involve wide range of belief speculations and varying interpretations. The identification of the specific individuals or events in biblical prophecies, such as the last horn of the false beast in Daniel or the beast with the number 666 in the book of Revelation, is highly subjective and has been the subject of much debate throughout history. Different individuals and groups have proposed various interpretations and identifications over time, often influenced by their specific religious or ideological perspectives. However, it's crucial to recognize that there is no universal accepted consensus on the identity of these figures or events among biblical scholars of Christian denominations. Really? Given the wide array of interpretations and speculative nature of such discussion, it is not appropriate for me as an AI to make claims or speculate on the current identity of specific figures mentioned in the biblical prophecies. It's advisable to approach these topics with open-mindedness and engage in respectful and informed discussions with those who share similar interests and perspectives. But we agree that the last beast in the book of Daniel is Roman, and that it continues until Christ the return of Christ. Let's see. So, but we agree that the last beast in the book of Daniel is Roman, that me writing, and that it continues until the return of Christ. Thereby, the Roman beast is around today. Who represent its head? Thereby, the Roman beast is around today. Who represents its head? Lad os se, hvad den siger. Lad os se. Men the thing is, in regards to this, is that okay, it's thinking. Apparently, it's had regenerating response. Okay, it's okay. Let's see here, but while there are interpretations that connect the last beast in the book of Daniel to the Roman Empire, it's important to note that the understanding of the prophecies can vary among the... Er det ikke det samme som... Ja, okay. Så... While there are interpretations that connect the last beast in the book of Daniel to the Roman Empire, it's important to note that the understanding of the prophecies can vary among different individuals and religious traditions. The identification of the specific head or ruler represents the last beast is not explicitly mentioned in the book of Daniel or universally agreed upon. Some interpretations suggest that the last beast in Daniel represents a continuous succession of empires or kingdoms throughout history, with the Roman Empire being one of them. These interpretations view the beast as a symbol of oppressive and anti-God system that will exist until the return of Christ. Regarding the specific head or ruler representing the beast in the present day, it's important to remember that the prophetic interpretation involves speculation and can be influenced by personal belief or interpretation of current events. Consequently, there is no definitive answer or consensus regarding the identification of a specific individual or ruler representing the head of the last beast. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's advisable to approach prophetic interpretations with humility and recognize that our understanding with these prophecies is limited. It's essential to focus on the broader messages of hope, faith, and righteous living conveyed in biblical text rather than trying to pinpoint specific individuals or events. No, that's not true. Does the so-called Pope does the so-called Roman Pope proclaim himself Caesar and head of all? Se hvad den siger til det. Okay. Så fortsætter den med. No, the Pope of the Roman Catholic Church does not proclaim himself as Caesar or the head of all in a political or secular sense. Yes, it does. But anyway, the title Caesar refers to the ancient Roman empires and is not used by the Pope. Oh, it is. That's not true. The Pope, as the head of the Roman Catholic Church, is considered the spiritual leader and successor of Saint Peter. Well, primarily Paulus. It's the devil's seed. Who is believed to have been appointed by Jesus Christ as the leader of the early Christian community. The Pope's authority is primarily religious and the so-called Pope, Pope. The Pope's authority is primarily religious and pertains to matters of faith, doctrine, and the governance of the Church. While the so-called Pope, while the Pope holds significantly influence within the Catholic Church and is regarded by Catholics as the highest So while the Pope holds significant influence within the Catholic Church, it is regarded by Catholics as the highest authority in matters of faith and morals. His authority is not recognized by other Christian denominations or secular political entities. It's important to differentiate between the religious role of the Pope and the secular political authority associated with historical figures like the Roman Empire. Okay, let's try. But the Pope, så-kaldt Pope, is crowned in Latin as father of princes and kings. Correct. Se hvad den siger til det. So, but the Pope is crowned in Latin as father of princes and kings. Correct? Question mark. Se hvad den siger. Godt nok meget skrev. The ceremonial language used during the papal coronation historically included Latin phrases, and the Pope has been addressed by various titles and honorifics. One such title used in the past is the Father of Princes and Kings, Latin Pater Principum et Regum. However, it is important to note that this title and similar phrases were primarily symbolic and part of the ceremonial language rather than a claim to political or secular authority. So are you saying that the keys in the papal, what do you call it, papal shield is not representing the Pope's authority regarding being the greatest spiritual and political, jeg skriver det bare lige ned inden jeg glemmer political power in the world. Okay, so, men anyway, den siger, used in the past, okay, jeg tager den lige forfra, hvad den lige har skrevet, inden jeg fikser mit. This, oh, sorry, I'm speaking Danish. We'll just take it, I'll just read it again here, and we'll fix my anyway, the ceremonial language, that's the chat, whatever, GPT. The ceremonial language used during the papal coronation historically included Latin phrases, and the Pope has been addressed by various titles and honorifics. One such title used in the past is Father of Princes and Kings, Latin Pater Principum et Regum. However, it is important to note that this title and similar phrases were primarily symbolic and part of the ceremonial language rather than a claim to political or secular authority. Oh, really? Who wrote the Dark Ages? I have to read, just... wait, we can leave fixed over here. Who ruled the Dark Ages? Oh, if it's symbolic, if those phrases are symbolic, who ruled the Dark Ages? At the top. A Dark Age at the top, at the very top. Der kunne man også stille, jeg skulle være lige kopiere lige det her også. Der er masser af spørgsmål, vi lige kan se, om vi kan. However, it is important to note that this title and similar phrases were primarily symbolic and part of the ceremonial language rather than a claim to political or secular authority. Oh, is that so? So that's how it was in the Dark Age? It's like the use of such titles and honorifics was more common in previous centuries than the Pope's. The use of such titles and honorifics was more common in previous centuries, when the Pope's temporal power and influence were more intertwined with political structures. So there's no intermixing in political structures today. Who is every king bowing, and showing allegiance to? The Pope, the great stinker in Rome. Anyway, over time, the political authority of the papacy has significantly diminished. Oh, really? Maybe it looks like that, but that's not true. Particularly after the loss of the papal states in the 19th century and the focus of the papal... I wonder what it actually knows about the Jesuits. Yeah, okay. So, you do know that the Jesuits was set up how to conquer the whole world for the Pope in the 1540 Okay, vi har 3 spørgsmål indtil videre. So over time, the political authority of the papacy, that's the Roman papacy, remember that, Roman papacy, has significantly diminished, particularly after the loss of, no, it hasn't diminished, that's hard, anyway, particularly after the loss of the papal states in the 19th century. After the loss of the papal state, that doesn't sound correct in regards to the information. It pretty much gained the Vatican in, that was the Italian guy giving over the papacy. It's the head that was healed, as some of the newspapers wrote and all that. The wounded head that was, or the slain head that was, was healed. Anyway, and the focus of the papal role has shifted primarily to spiritual and religious leadership. Yeah, but the spiritual and religious leadership, in regards to how is the golden key. Anyway, we'll see. Anyway, in contemporary times, the Pope's role is primarily regarded as a spiritual leader of the Roman Catholic Church and a moral voice on global issues. While the Pope may engage with political leaders and express his views on various matters, the ceremonial titles and honorifics do not grant the Pope secular or political authority over princes and kings. Oh, really? Okay, hvad skal vi stille spørgsmålet? Okay, så den gik lidt ind på The Dark Age og så videre der, så der kan man jo sige, at okay. Are you saying that the keys in the papacy does not represent the Pope's authority regarding being the greatest spiritual and political power in the entire world? So regarding being the keys, the golden and silver key. Are you saying that the golden and silver key in the papal shield is not representing the Pope's authority regarding being the greatest spiritual and political power in the entire world? Okay, lad os prøve at se, hvad den siger til det. See here. The papal shield, also known as the papal coat of arms, is a symbol used to represent the Pope and the authority of the papacy. Oh, really? There we go. The shield typically features various elements that hold symbolic meaning. Among these elements are the cross keys, one silver and one gold. Oh yeah, which represent the keys to the kingdom of heaven as mentioned in the Bible. The silver key represents the power to bind and loose on earth, while the gold key represents the power to bind and loose in heaven. Well, the golden key is in regard to the spiritual power, and the silver key is the political power. But I guess that actually, in some sense, the silver key represents the power to bind and loose on earth. The political power. While the gold key represents the power to bind and loose in heaven in regards to the spiritual power. That's, okay. These keys symbolize the spiritual authority. There we go. Spiritual authority and responsibility of the Pope to guide and govern the church according to Catholics' beliefs. Okay. While the Catholic Church holds significant spiritual authority and influence over its members, the interpretations of the keys as representing the Pope's authority as the greatest spiritual and political power in the entire world can be a matter of individual belief and perspective. It is important to note that the Pope's authority as understood within the framework of the I think I need to write Roman Pope, instead of, so it might, because it's just saying Pope, right? Let's fix it Roman. Okay, anyway, it's important to note that the Pope's authority as understood within the framework of the Catholic Church is primarily religious and pertains to matters of faith, doctrine, and the governance of the Church itself. The extent and nature of the Pope's influence beyond the Catholic Church sphere of authority can vary depending on historical, cultural, and geopolitical context. Oh my, about the Jesuits? Let's get the Jesuit thing. So, let's see here. You know that the Jesuits were set out to conquer the whole world for the Pope in 1514? Let's see here. So I'm writing, you do know that the Jesuits were set out to conquer to conquer the whole world for the Pope in 1540. Let's see here. The Society of Jesus, commonly known as the Jesuits, was founded by so-called, it says Saint Ignatius of Loyola in 1540. Well, actually, it was accepted by the first beast and given the dominion and power to the second beast as far as the Jesuits. The primary mission of the Jesuits, as outlined in their founding documents, was to engage in missionary work, education, and intellectual pursuit to promote the Catholic faith. They are committed to serving the Church and the Pope. Well, they're still doing that. Wait, I was here. So, do you know the? Okay, let's see here. The Jesuits played a significant role in spreading Catholicism and established educational institutions around the world, particularly during the period of the Counter-Reformation. Wow! Yeah, give some truth here. Counter-Reformation. Okay, so what do you think the Counter-Reformation was about? Oh, the Jesuits played a significant role in spreading Catholicism and established educational institutions. I don't know if actually all this I have in regard. Is it going to save all this thing, or can I save it, or does it save it? Or anyway, I guess today Antichrist. Okay, I guess it will probably save it. Okay. So the Jesuit played a significant role in. We'll come. Where did we come to? The Jesuit played a significant role in spreading Catholicism and establishing educational institutions around the world. That's like learning against learning, particularly during the period of the Counter-Reformation. So what would the Counter-Reformation be? Oh, maybe we should ask it, What is the Counter-Reformation? What is the Dark Age? And, why is it called the Dark Ages? Oh, yeah. Okay, why is the... why is it called the Dark Ages? And why is it called the Counter-Reformation? Or what is the Counter-Reformation? Something like that. Yes, we're just going to read a little more. The Jesuits played a significant role in spreading Catholicism and establishing educational institutions around the world, particularly during the period of the Counter-Reformation. They were known for their commitment to education, scholarship, and engaging with various cultures and societies. While it is true that the Jesuits were actively involved in missions, not only active, still active. It's like always, in the past, right? It is true that the Jesuits were actively involved in missions and propagations of the Catholic faith. It is incorrect to say that their mission was solely about conquering the entire world for the Pope. The primary focus of the Jesuits was to bring people to the Catholic faith through education, evangelization, and social service. To actually stop the Protestants. It is important to approach historical events and the motivations of religious orders with nuances and recognize that their activities and goals can be complex and multifaceted. The Jesuits tried to blow up the English Parliament. The English Protestant Parliament. Okay. So the Jesuits tried to blow up the English Protestant Parliament. I see. Okay, it's thinking. I guess it has to think about that. Oh my. Some of it is. I'll see. It's interesting. It's writing now. It's taking a little time. The event you're referring to is known as the Gunpowder Plot. Oh yeah, that's the 1605, I think it was. Yeah, okay, which occurred in 1605 in England. Oh yeah, that's true. While it's true that, pretty much there's only, in regards of it's trying to slick things and all that, it's really only one big error it seems to have made in regards of information, as far as I know, in regards of this. But anyway, in regards of the 19, in regards of the Vatican losing its. But anyway, I think the date is, there was a Vatican state as a country, but anyway, and it lost that before that. Anyway, and it got refixed in Mussolini and all that. Anyway, in the 20th century. Maybe that was actually, maybe it was right if it said the 19th century. Maybe it was in the 19th. I can't remember. Did it actually say the 19th century in regards of? Because well, at least it happened before. I was just thinking. So maybe it. I can't remember when the Vatican State was. I see. But the Pope is crowned in Latin as the father. Yeah. What was that? Was in regards of no? I can't find it. Where's all the things that it wrote? Oh, that okay. That okay. Something 19 something, right? Yeah. Okay. Laws the papal states in the 19th century. It might actually be right in regards. Yeah. Okay. 19th century. That would be 1800 to 19. So that might actually be correct that they lost the in the 9. I can't remember. But anyway, okay. So anyway, let's see. I'm asking. The Jesuits tried to blow up the English Protestant Parliament, and then it says, well, the computer says the event you're referring to is known as the Gunpowder Plot. That's correct, which occurred in 1605 in England. Yeah, that's correct. While it's true that I wonder what it actually knows about Klosterlasse and all that in regards to the Jesuits in the Nordic nations. But anyway, while it is true that one of the conspirators involved in the plot, Guy Fawkes, was a former Jesuit, I'm actually not sure that he was. But he was. I'm not sure he was. I'm not sure where that it gets its information. But it was a Jesuit plot, behind the scenes. So it says it is incorrect to say that the Jesuits as a whole were responsible for or attempted to blow up the English Protestant Parliament. I would disagree on that. And as far as I know, Guy Fawkes was not a former Jesuit, as far as I know. But he was the one doing the thing in regards of lightning. He was the instigator in some sense, and the Jesuits, the brainies behind the scenes and all that. So perhaps that I would disagree on that in regard. It was a Jesuit conspiracy to blow up the English Parliament. I don't think that was be any. Well, of course, history is rewritten and all that. Anyway, the Gunpowder Plot was a failed conspiracy by a group of English Catholics who sought to assassinate King James the first and members. That would also be, I think, King James the Fourth or something. I think he's called both, but anyway, I can't remember. And members of the Protestant government by detonating Let's try that again. The Gunpowder Plot was a failed conspiracy by a group of English Catholics who sought to assassinate King James I and members of the Protestant government by detonating explosives in the House of Lords during the state opening of Parliament. The motivations behind the plot was primarily rooted in religious and political tensions of the time, including the persecution of Catholics in England. The Jesuits were a target of suspicion and persecution during this period due to their association with the Catholic Church and their loyalty to the Pope. However, it is important to note that the Jesuit order as a whole did not endorse or support the Gunpowder Plot. That's a lie. I think I would disagree with that. The plot was carried out by a small group of individuals who held extremist views and operated independently. No. Anyway, it is crucial to distinguish between the actions of individual members and the broader activities and belief of a religious order or organization. The Jesuits as an order have been involved in various educational, charitable, and missionary endeavors around the world throughout their history. Okay, let's try this one. Was Hitler a Roman Catholic? Oh my, that would be interesting. Was Hitler a Roman Catholic? Let's see. Adolf Hitler, the leader of Nazi Germany from 1934 to 1945, was born into a Catholic family and was baptized as a Roman Catholic. However, it is important to note that Hitler's personal belief that his relationship with religion were complex and subject to debate among historians and scholars. While Hitler was raised in a Catholic family and attended Catholic schools in his youth, His views on religion evolved over time as he rose to power. Hitler and the Nazi regime implemented policies that was hostile toward organized religion, including Catholicism. The Nazis regime sought to exert control over religious institutions and promote an ideology that was incompatible with traditional religious beliefs. Roman Catholicism had always been a mix of things. But anyway, Hitler's personal religious views are a matter of interpretation and speculation. Oh yeah, because we couldn't actually say that he was just a Roman Catholic, you know. Some historians argue that Hitler held a distorted and racist version of Christianity. Well, that's called Roman Catholicism, you know, that proclaims itself to be Christianity. But anyway, while others suggest that he adopted a more secular and pagan worldview, but Roman Catholicism is paganism, you know. It's mix of, you know, just outside it proclaims itself as Christian, but it's paganism. Christ Mass, so-called Mary Christ Mass, is paganism. Easter is paganism. The New Year of Janus is paganism in regards to the winter. It has nothing to do with the Bible. The New Year is in spring, and we have festivals found in the Bible that Christ kept and are the Christian festivals. And of course, the Antichrist thinks to change times and laws. And that includes festivals in regards. We have a Roman calendar, not biblical. We have all the different satanic festivals. We now also have Halloween and Valentine's nonsense and whatnot, you know, come in my lifetime to Denmark. Anyway, so while others suggest that he adopted a more, in regards to Hitler, that he adopted a more secular and pagan worldview, blending elements of various ideologies and beliefs. It is important to recognize that Hitler's actions and beliefs were widely condemned by religious leaders, including Catholic leaders. Yeah, well, then, you know, always have to put up. I have a question. You know, we'll just continue with the questions and dig into during his including Catholic leaders during his time and continue. You know, the Catholic system doesn't mind killing Roman Catholics to further its gain, you know. The end justifying the means, you know. Anyway, during his time and continue to be condemned today. Let's try that again. It is important to recognize that Hitler's action and beliefs were widely condemned by religious leaders, including Catholic leaders, during his time and continue to be condemned today. The Catholic Church and other religious institutions have expressed their opposition to the Nazi regime and its atrocities. So why did the Roman Catholic Roman Catholic system help the Nazis flee to Roman Catholic Argentina through the Vatican red lines. Let's see what it says. So, all right. Why did the Roman Catholic system helps the Nazis flee to Roman Catholic Argentina through the Vatican red lines, right? If it has nothing to do with Roman Catholicism. Oh, we also have in regards to the Roman salute, right? The Roman salute of the Nazis. You know, the hand thing, you know, and of course we have many other things. And the flag as well. We can ask it about the flag, the Nazi flag. That's a Roman Catholic flag as well in regards to the cookie Jesus. Anyway, yeah, it's the cookie Jesus on the Nazi flag. It's the sun god. You know, it's a sun god symbol as well and all that. It's the Catholic cookie Jesus. Anyway, that they believe. You know, it's the mystery Babylon. You know, the pagan trinity with Father, Mother, and Son and all that. Moon, Venus, and Sun. Anyway, it's all pagan bullshit. Anyway, mystery Babylon was there at the very beginning of Romanism and all that, and she just took on sheep clothing later on. Anyway, okay, it is true that after World War II, There were cases where individuals associated with the Nazi regime, including some high-ranking officials and war criminals, managed to escape various countries, including Argentina. This escape was facilitated by various means, including the use of networks commonly referred to as red lines. The Vatican red lines. Anyway, but it says just so-called red lines anyway. While some individuals involved in aiding the escape of Nazis may have had affiliation with the Catholic Church, it is incorrect to attribute these actions to the Roman Catholic system as a whole. It is important to remember that individuals within any organization can act independently or in violation of its principles. Oh my. The actions of specific individuals or groups in aiding the escape of Nazis should be viewed as deviations from the official stance and teachings of the Catholic Church. In fact, there were members of the Catholic Church, both clergy and laity, who actively opposed the Nazi regime and worked to protect and rescue those targeted by it, such as Jews and other persecuted groups. But you always see this, where they, oh, look at this. Oh, we had some dude, whatever, Well, this guy died for Christ and Mary and and took another man's place. And so anyway, it continues. It is crucial not to generalize or make sweeping judgment about the actions of an entire religious system based on the actions of a few individuals. Oh, it's just a few individuals in regards of the Nazis escaping to Argentina. The Catholic Church, like any large organization, comprises diverse individuals with varying beliefs and behaviors. Okay, well, I have different questions. Why would anyone accept Roman Catholicism as Christian when the leader of the Catholic, when the leader of the Roman Catholic system calls himself Holy Father? Why would anyone accept Roman Catholicism as Christian when the leader of the Roman Catholic system calls himself Holy Father, as Christ said, call no man on earth Father? Let's see what it said. But we're going to return to this because we want to have the Ustashi as well inside, because the Ustashi also fled in regards to Argentina. Let's see what it says. Oh my, is it finished or is it thinking? I think it's thinking. It's thinking in regards to this. Oh, let's see what it says. Let's see what it says. The title Holy Father, the title so-called Holy Father, is one of the titles traditionally used to refer to the Pope. Now, in regards of Pope, means father as well. So that's already a problem. I just took the Holy Father thing, referred to the Pope. So it's just, actually I could ask, I could actually tell it, you do know that Pope also means father, right? Anyway, who is considered the spiritual leader of the Roman Catholic Church. The use of this title is based on the belief that the Pope serves as a successor of Saint Peter and holds a unique role within the church. Yeah, but anyway, regarding the statement in which Jesus said, call no man on earth Father, Matthew 23:9, it is important to interpret it within its context. Oh, yeah. Call no man rabbi, call no man father in regards to titles and all that. You're all brothers and sisters, right? Yeah. But then, you have some guy lifting himself up to the skies and taking all the titles of God upon himself. But apparently this one can't conclude that it's the Antichrist or, Anyway, in that passage, Jesus was addressing the issue of a religious leader seeking honorific titles and exalting themselves above others. So I guess Holy Father is not a title that, apparently just puts you above everybody else. A title that belongs to God Almighty in the heavens. And, you gotta be kidding me. He was cautioning against pride and the misuse of titles for personal gain or to claim superiority over others. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. That's exactly what the papacy do, or does. You gotta be kidding me. However, it is essential to know that this statement is not meant to be taken literally and applied in every context. Now, I'm not saying in regards of, you have a father and a mother and all that, right? But in regards of titles, throughout the Bible, the term father is used in various ways, including as a term of respect for one's biological father, as a metaphorical term for spiritual or religious leaders. Anyway. The use of the term so-called Holy Father for the Pope within the context of the Roman Catholic Church is not intended to contradict the teaching of Jesus, but rather reflects the specific role and authority attributed to the Pope within the Catholic Church. It's not intended to contradict the teachings of Jesus, but rather reflects the specific role and authority attributed to the Pope within the Catholic Church. So the authority of Holy Father, you gotta be kidding me, This is like, ew. So who's the Holy Father that, attributed to the Pope within the, you gotta be kidding me. Different Christian denominations may have varying interpretations and practices regarding titles and the role of religious leaders. It is important to respect the diverse belief and practices within Christianity while engaging in respectful dialogue and understanding. It still calls Roman Catholicism Christianity. Anyway, so let's see here. I had something in regards of the Pope, but of course it also means father. The Pope also means father. I'll see one. Yes, you're correct. The word Pope itself is derived from the Latin word papa, which means father. It is a title traditionally used to refer to the Bishop of Rome, who is considered the head of the Roman Catholic Church. Like the Roman, and the last beast is what? The last beast is Roman, right? And we have the Bishop of Rome that puts himself up as the Bishop of Bishops. That, historically the conflict has gone out through throughout all history. And who is thinking to change times and laws? Well, we could ask the ChatGPT, who thinks, let's see. Let's see. Who thinks to change the Sabbath day? The Sabbath and the Sabbath. Who thinks to change the Sabbath day, the day of rest, to the first day of the week, known as Sunday? Anyway, we're just going to read what it says here, what this AI says. Who is considered so yes, you are correct. The word so-called Pope itself is derived from the Latin word papa, or so-called papa, which means father. It is a title traditionally used to refer to the Bishop of Rome, who is considered the head of the Roman Catholic Church. In the Catholic tradition, the Pope is seen as the spiritual father and shepherd to the faithful. The title, so-called Pope, emphasizes the Pope's role as a fatherly figure who provides guidance, leadership, and pastoral care to the church. Well, you want to be like God. Satan want to be like God, so the Pope, the Pope want to be like God. That's just how it is. It is important to note that the term father in the context of the Pope and other religious leaders is not meant to supersede or contradict Jesus' teaching on Matthew 23:9, where he cautions against seeking honorific titles or exalting oneself. Oh yeah, okay. So you don't think titles like His Holiness is lifting. I'm just going to copy that. Let's see here. Okay, so you don't think like titles of the Roman Pope. So you don't think titles like I think like, so you don't think titles like His Holiness is lifting himself up? So you don't think the Roman Pope lifts himself up by titles like His Holiness? What do you call it? Titles like His Holiness. Okay, yeah, that's something like that. By being what do you call it? By titles like His Holiness. Anyway, by being, what do you call it when people say something by calling the titles like, anyway. Oh, yeah, let's just read further here. It is important to note that the use of the term so-called father in the stop with this nonsense. Go away. No, don't get away from, go away. It is important to note that the use of the term so-called father in the context of the Pope and other religious leaders has not been to supersede or contradict Jesus' teaching on Matthew 23:9, while it cautions against seeking honorific titles or exalting oneself. The term so-called father is used in spiritual and metaphorical sense, recognizing the role of leaders in providing spiritual guidance and nurturing the faith of their followers. As with any religious or theological topic, interpretations and understanding can vary among different individuals and denominations. It is important to approach these discussions with respect for different perspectives and engage in dialogue to foster mutual understanding. So right here. So you don't think the Roman Pope lifts himself up by titles like His Holiness, Holy Father, Holy Father, it's like His like His Holiness. Well, anyway. So I don't know. So you don't think the Roman Pope lifts himself up by titles like His Holiness? I see what it says. His Holiness, Holy Father, and Holy Father. That's like, anyway. Is it already responded? The use of titles such as His Holiness for the Pope is a matter of tradition and respect within the Roman Catholic Church. Yeah, lifting himself up, right, above everybody else. It is not inherently intended to a means of lifting oneself up or claiming superiority over others. The title the title so-called His Holiness is used as a form of address to show reverence and honor to the Pope as the spiritual leader of the Catholic Church. It's like it's like trying to defend it and yet proclaiming the truth. It's like, yeah, but it's not really. But it's like a reverence and honor to. So it's just saying, yeah, it's trying to, but yet saying, yeah, well, it's like reverence and honor to the Pope as a spiritual leader of the Catholic Church. Yeah. It's important to recognize that the use of titles including His Holiness, or His so-called His Holiness, is not unique to the Pope or the Roman Catholic Church. Many religious leaders, both within Christianity and other faith, so at least many religious leaders, both within Christianity and other faith traditions, are accorded honorific titles as a sign of respect and recognition of their spiritual authority. Spiritual authority, there we go. Lifting themselves above others, right? However, it is crucial for religious leaders to exercise humility and not allow titles or positions to foster pride or arrogance. Pope Francis, the current Pope, has emphasized the importance of humility and service, encouraging clergy and but Pope Francis, because maybe I can actually say, is it okay for me to, can you understand if I call the Pope the Poop, is it okay? Let's see. Is it okay for me? Do you understand? instead. Oh, I see here instead. I see here. Okay, so I see here. I'm just tired of writing Pope, you know. Let's see here. However, it is crucial for religious, just reading the last. However, it is crucial for religious leaders to exercise humility and not allow titles or positions to foster pride or arrogance. Pope Francis, the current Pope, has emphasized the importance of humility and service, encouraging clergy and followers to focus on the core teachings of Christ rather than becoming preoccupied with titles or external trappings of power. Ultimately, the significance and interpretations of titles like His Holiness, like so-called His Holiness, may vary among individuals and denominations. It is important to approach these discussions with an open mind, respect different perspectives, and focus on the core principle and teachings of one faith. I think it's really, really, But anyway, do you understand if I refer to the Pope as the Pope instead? Let's see. We're going to. As an all language model, I understand that individuals may have different opinions and preferences regarding how to refer to religious figures or any other person. However, it's important to approach discussions with respect and courtesy, using language that promotes constructive dialogue. Referring to the Pope, the so-called Pope, as the Pope is generally considered disrespectful and derogatory. It is advisable to engage in discussion using language that is respectful and mindful of other beliefs and sensitivities. Open and respectful dialogue allows for better understanding and productive conversation. But I'm not. But as a Christian, as a Christian, I'm not allowed to call anyone father. Anyone father. I guess you could. I guess you could be. Guess you could be sensitive to my belief. Maybe. Sensitive and mindful of my Christian, of my beliefs. But as a Christian, I'm not allowed to call anyone father on earth. A father on earth as in title. I guess you could be sensitive and mind. Okay, yeah. But as a Christian, I'm not allowed to call anyone father on earth as in title. I guess you could be sensitive and mindful of my beliefs. But anyway, that's it. Just at the moment, it seems like we're sliding in the wrong direction. It's but as an AI language module, I understand that individuals may have different opinions and preference regarding how they refer to religious figures or any other person. However, it's important to approach discussions with respect and courtesy, using language that promotes constructive dialogue. Referring to the Oh, wait. Okay. Oh, okay. Well, I read the other one. Okay. Oh, sorry. It's writing here. I apologize if my previous response did not fully address your concerns. I understand that as a Christian, you may have specific beliefs and interpretation regarding the use of titles. In Matthew 23:9, Jesus advises against calling anyone on earth so-called father in the context of seeking honor or exalting oneself. It is important to consider this teaching within its intended meaning, which is to avoid pride and self-aggrandizement. Aggrandizement, oh, that was a big word, self-aggrandizement. While the use of titles such as father for religious leaders, including the Pope, is a common practice in certain Christian traditions, but they're not Christians. It is understandable that some individuals may hold different interpretation based on their understanding of Scripture. As an AI language model, I strive to provide information and support respectful dialogue. If it is your belief not to use certain titles, including father for religious leaders, you have the freedom to express your views accordingly. It is important for individuals of different beliefs to engage in discussion with mutual respect and understanding. Anyway, let's get back to things. Whatever. If it's, I see here what it was in regard. We had something. It doesn't want to apparently it doesn't apparently believe that, saying, calling yourself Holy Father and His Holiness and all that is something that actually makes, okay. So what did I have something in regards of? Oh yeah. Let's see. I go back to who thinks to change the Sabbath, the day of rest, to the first day of the week, known as Sunday. Okay. Yeah. So who thinks to change the Sabbath, the day of rest, to the first day? To the first day of the week, known as Sunday. The change of the day of rest from Sabbath, and it writes in parameters, Saturday to Sunday as a Christian day of worship, can be attributed to early Christian practice and historical development. In the New Testament, it is mentioned that early Christians began gathering for worship fellowship on the first day of the week, which is Sunday, to commemorate the resurrection of Jesus Christ. This practice gradually became more widespread within the early Christian communities. And there was always, they were always attacking the commandments of God. Historically, the shift from Saturday to Sunday as the primary day of Christian worship also coincided with the spread of Christianity beyond its Jewish roots. As Christianity gained more followers from Gentile, non-Jewish backgrounds, the observance of the Jewish Sabbath, it's just the Jewish Sabbath, that's the Sabbath that Christ kept, and what is written as a commandment of the, on the Ten Commandments on the stones. The observance of the Jewish Sabbath became less prominent, and Sunday emerged as the primary day for Christian worship. Additionally, during the reign of Emperor Constantine, a sun worshipper, in the 4th century, Christianity gained legal recognition and became the favorite religion within the Roman Empire. As a result, Sunday, which was already a day of rest in the Roman calendar, So as a result, Sunday, which was already a day of rest in the Roman calendar, in regards to the Sunday, was designated as the official day of rest and worship for Christians. Yeah. What happened to the people that kept the Sabbath in the 4th century? That would be probably the 5th century. What happened to Christians that continued to keep the Sabbath in the 4th and 5th century, not following Roman law. Anyway, it is important to note that the change from the Sabbath to Sunday as the day of rest and worship was not a universal decision within early Christianity and has varied among different Christian traditions. Different denominations may have different theological explanations and practices regarding the observance of Sunday as the Lord's Day. Well, the Lord's Day is Saturday, Just like, you gotta be kidding me. Anyway, let's ask it. What happened to Christians that continue to keep the Sabbath in the 4th and 5th century, not following Roman law in the Roman Empire? Let's see what it says. During the 4th and 5th centuries, as Christianity became the favorite religion within the Roman Empire, there were instances where Christians who continued to observe the Sabbath, Saturday, instead of Sunday, faced varying degrees of opposition and discrimination. Are you telling me that there was actually Christians who continued to keep Sabbath? But I thought they kept Sunday, right? Instead of Sunday, faced varying degrees of, the thing is, you can get data points out. You can also, you can listen to a Roman Catholic and still get data points if you can discern, the things. Sometimes there's some gold nuggets, but you have to, take it all in context and all. You have to discern, Anyway, instead of Sunday, faced varying degrees of opposition and discrimination. However, it is important to note that the severity of the consequences varied depending on the specific time, place, and local circumstances. While there were sporadic cases of Christians facing social ostracism and exclusion for Sabbath observance, there was no unified or systematically persecuting targeting Sabbath-keeping Christians during that period. Really? The level of tolerance or intolerance towards Sabbath observance could vary among different regions and communities within the Roman Empire. It is worth mentioning that the transition from Sabbath to Sunday observance was primarily driven by theological and cultural developments within early Christianity. The official recognition of Sunday as the day of rest and worship by the Roman Empire under Emperor Constantine further solidified its prominence. However, it is important to recognize that Christianity during the time was not a monolithic entity. The different Christian communities had diverse practices and interpretations. Some communities, such as the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, continue to observe Saturday as the Sabbath to this day. Oh yeah, but actually they try to actually also change that in newer times. The history in regards to the Jesuits and the Ethiopian and all that, first time they failed, the second time they seem to actually have succeeded somewhat in regards of turning them away from the Sabbath. But anyway, it says this one's, the AI says that such as the Ethiopian Orthodox Church continue to observe Saturday as the Sabbath to this day. You see the Italians, if I recall correctly, Mussolini and all that, if I recall correctly, attacking also, where I think that's Ethiopian that were attacking. But anyway, that's history, books on history in regards to that, how they... but anyway... Overall, while there may have been instances of social and cultural pressure on Christians who continued to observe the Sabbath, the response to Sabbath-keeping Christians within the Roman Empire during the 4th and 5th century was not characterized by consistent or systematic persecution. I wouldn't agree with that, but anyway... Christians have been butchered throughout history in regards to this satanic system. Okay, so let's see here. Let's try to ask it about the Ustashi. Oh, do we have a problem in regards to the camera here? Okay, let's see. Do you know? Okay, the Ustashi, the Croatian Ustashi with the Nazis. The Ustasha, it depends on how you, Ustashi. The Croatian Ustashi was Roman Catholics who butchered the Orthodox Serbs. They were part of the Roman Catholic maniac movement of World War II. They also fled to Roman Catholic Argentina through the Vatican red lines. Do you see any connections to Rome and Mystery Babylon and the Antichrist, as in regards of the papacy, of the Roman papacy, as the fourth beast of Daniel is Roman, and the head of Romanism is the Pope. There we go. Let's try that. Anyway, see if we can get the. It's writing at the moment. Let's see what it says. If it just try to, it's it started pretty good in regards of the Protestants. It talks about I guess maybe it could actually take up some quotes in regards of what the Protestants actually said. If we could take some. Anyway, let's see. It writes here. It is important to approach historical events and complex geopolitical situations with care, avoiding generalizations and oversimplifications. While it is true that there were individuals and groups such as Ustashi, it writes as Ustashi in Croatia, who identified as Roman Catholic and committed atrocities during World War II, it is incorrect and unfair to attribute their actions to to the Roman Catholic Church as a whole or draw direct connections to the Roman papacy. Yeah, that would be terrible too. The actions of the Ustashi were motivated by a combination of political, ethnic, and ideological factors. Oh, wait. Let's see. The Serbs that are Orthodox convert 1/3 of them, butcher 1/3 of them, and make 1/3 of them leave. Has nothing to do with Roman Catholicism, I guess, and making them make the cross the right direction because the Orthodox makes the cross. Well, I guess in regards it's hardly, but the Orthodox made it the wrong way in regards of this direction, while the Roman Catholics are making it the correct way this direction. Yeah, but it looks wrong on the camera, so just in regards, I think it's flipping around. Let's see. Yeah, this direction. They make the Orthodox makes the cross from the right to the left, and the Catholics make it from the left to the right, and I believe that's the correct way. And if you are the bishop or bishops, everybody else needs to follow you and your instructions, right? So it's very important. In regards to that, it's just disgusting. They have tried to, whitewash the history of the Ustashi. If you go look into the Ustashi and the creations and all that, you can find some. You might need to dig something, but there's still a lot of truth out there in regards to this. But anyway, the actions of the Ustashi were motivated by a combination of political, ethnic, and ideological factors. Oh, it has nothing to do with Roman Catholicism and Orthodoxy. Okay, I guess it just had nothing to do with them being Orthodox, right? And convert 1/3 of those, and kill 1/3 of them and 1/3 of them out of, had nothing, nothing to do with religion, right? Anyway, including, it writes further, including extreme nationalism and the desire to create an ethnically homogeneous state. The actions cannot be justified or excused, but it is crucial to recognize that they operated independently and were not representative of the entire Roman Catholic Church or its teaching. So it was representative of some of the Roman Catholic, institution. You're getting how, you see, like it's giving you a little, but it just doesn't want to, and we're not representative of the entire Roman Catholic Church or its teaching. Oh, yeah. You see those, the mass and the cut throat, and then you just, and then continuing the mass and all that. Oh, it's just disgusting in regards to this Roman Catholic. It's some of the most disgusting, filthy, and there's a lot of it. It's just disgusting. You go look at it if you want to. Nazism and Nazism and that's the salute. We know, the Roman salute. And the flag. Let's ask it about that and see what Roman salute, right? That's the Nazi salute. That's a Roman salute, and the cookie Jesus on the flag. Okay, let's see him. That's just cookie Jesus on the flag. Yeah, that's the sun god on the Nazi flag. Anyway, so the actions of the Ustashi were motivated by we took that. And we'll just take the last one. But it is crucial their actions cannot be justified or excused. But it is crucial to recognize that they operated independently and were not representative of the entire Roman Catholic Church or its teachings. So we're not representative of the entire Roman Catholic Church. Similarly, drawing direct connection between the Roman papacy, at least it's using Roman papacy now, and concepts like Mystery Babylon or the Antichrist is a matter of interpretation and belief. Interpretation according to the Bible, It is not universally held view among Christians. Oh, really? And different denominations and individuals may have diverse understandings regarding these topics. Wait a minute. It's bullshitting. Anyway, engaging in fruitful, it might not be today. Proclaimed Christians have they're so totally ignorant of the Bible, the book of Daniel, the book of Revelation, and the Protestant history and all that. But overall, in history, we have like so many sources. Anyway, engaging in fruitful dialogue and understanding different perspectives is important when discussing historical events and religious beliefs. It is advisable to approach these discussions with respect, acknowledging the complexity of historical context and avoiding sweeping generalizations of accusations. No, that's the truth. It's okay. You do know the Nazi salute is the Roman salute. You do know the Nazi salute is the Roman salute. Let's see here. The Nazi salute and the Roman salute share some similarities in their outward appearances. Actually, I just saw a picture of a Roman picture as well, where he was, giving the Roman salute and all that. Anyway, as both involving racing. Okay, so the Nazi salute and the Roman salute share some similarities in their outward appearance, as both involved raising the right arm in a straight upward position. Oh, really? The Nazi salute, commonly associated with Adolf Hitler and the Nazi regime, became widely known during World War II. Should we take that again? The Nazi salute and the Roman salute share some similarities. Oh, just some similarities, apparently. In their outward appearance, as both involve raising the right arm in a straight upward position. The Nazi salute, commonly associated with Adolf Hitler and the Nazi regime, became widely known during World War II. The Roman salute, on the other hand, was a gesture used in ancient Rome as a form of greeting or respect. Oh, so that's nothing to do with Nazism or anything like that. It involved extending the right arm forward with the palm facing downward. Oh, that sounds like the Nazi salute, doesn't it? While the Roman salute may have inspired the Nazi salute in terms of its visual appearance, it is important to note that the intention, symbolism, and historical context behind these gestures are distinct and should not be conflated. Conflated, I guess that's a big word, but I guess, connected together or something like that. Oh, really? I had another, so let's see. Hitler was a Roman Catholic. He was born as a Roman Catholic. He grew up as a Roman Catholic. And, I guess this Roman salute and all that, which apparently have, some similarities. You listen up to this language, it has some similarities. Like, it's pretty much the same thing, It is, because it is, It's just, give me a break with the bullshit. So, it's just defending the devil here and all the, Anyway, not a surprise. But anyway, you can still read get some information out of this. But the Roman salute, on the other hand, was a gesture used in ancient Rome as a form of greeting or respect. Oh, they don't do it when they greet each other, like when they when you see the Nazis and they greet each other, they don't greet each other. Okay, It involved extending the right arm forward with a palm facing downward, while the Roman salute may have inspired the Nazi salute. Oh yeah, the Jews. Oh, we have the Jewish perspective as well, Hitler was, of course, just a good Roman Catholic, so he just did what the Roman Catholic maniac institution have done for hundreds of years. Kill the Jews, persecute the Jews. Anyway, it involved extending the right arm forward with palm facing downward. While the Roman salute may have inspired the Nazi salute in terms of its visual appearance, it is important to note that the intention, symbolism, and historical context behind these gestures are distinct and should not be conflated. Oh, really? We shouldn't connect these things? Oh my. The Nazi salute, with a specific arm position associated ideologies of Nazi Germany, is widely condemned today due to its association with the atrocities committed during World War II. The Roman salute, as used in ancient Rome, does not carry the same negative connotations. Oh, really? Okay. Just the same, but yeah. It is crucial to approach historical symbols and gestures with accuracy and contextual understanding to avoid misinterpretations or misrepresenting of their meanings and historical significance. Okay. Now, okay. Roman Catholic Hitler just did as any other Roman. Just followed Romanism by persecuting the Jews, as has been done historically. Roman Catholic history just followed Romanism by persecuting the Jews, as has been done historical by Roman Catholicism. Let's see what it says to that. We also have the cookie Jesus. I want to ask it up, ask whatever and see what it says. But I expected it to be somewhat, it's trying to defend the lies, and this, it doesn't want to, pinpoint. But anyway, let's see. It is important to approach historical events and the actions of individuals with accuracy and avoid making sweeping generalizations. While Adolf Hitler, the leader of Nazi Germany, was born and baptized a Catholic family, it is incorrect and unfair to attribute his actions of the Holocaust solely to Roman Catholicism or Romanism as a whole. Oh, really? Really? Huh? Okay. Really? I just let's see here. What is it called? Like walk like a dog and quack like a dog. Maybe it's duck is a dog. Maybe I just don't know. Maybe walking as a wolf, barfing as a wolf, or howling as a wolf. Maybe it's a wolf. I think also Hitler wasn't. Let's see what it says to that. Wasn't Hitler called? Didn't Hitler have a nickname of Wolf? Wasn't? Oh, and the Wolf Lair as well. Anyway, let's see. Was born and baptized into a cat. Let's just read it further here before we go into a Catholic family. It is incorrect and unfair to attribute his actions or the Holocaust solely to Roman Catholicism or Romanism as a whole. Really? Mm-hmm. The persecution of Jews during the Holocaust was driven by a combination of factors, including racial ideology, political ambitions, and the propagation of anti-Semitic beliefs. Oh yeah, the same anti-Semitic beliefs that the Roman Catholic Church have had for hundreds and hundreds of years. It is crucial to recognize that Hitler's actions were rooted in his own twisted ideology and ideologies of the Nazi Party, which included racial purity and Aryan supremacy. Well, Hitler grew up as what? A Roman Catholic! How many of the high-ranking leaders was actually Roman Catholics, Anyway. It is also, Goering was excommunicated for marrying a divorced Protestant. But anyway, it is also important, Hitler was never excommunicated by the Roman Catholic Maniac Institution. It is also important to note that many Christians, including Roman Catholics, actively opposed the Nazi regime and work to protect and rescue Jews and other persecuted groups. Just because you have some people here and there and all that doing some, doesn't mean that the system as a whole is not doing. They don't have a problem killing some Roman Catholics and the unjustified means. Anyway, the actions of individuals or specific groups within a religious tradition do not necessarily reflect the teachings or belief of the entire faith community. Anyway, we're going to go into drawing direct connections between the actions of Adolf Hitler and Roman Catholicism as a whole oversimplifies complex historical dynamics and disregards the diverse beliefs and practices within the Roman Catholic Church. It is important to approach historical analysis with nuances and to avoid making unfounded or misleading claims. Okay, let's try to let's see here. The cookie cheese. You do know the symbol of the Nazi flag is the cookie Jesus of Roman Catholicism. Let's see what it says to that. You do know that the symbol of the Nazi flag is the cookie Jesus of Roman Catholicism. Let's see what it says to that. Let's see what it says. It says, "I'm sorry, but your statement is incorrect. The symbol of the Nazi flag, commonly known as the swastika, is not directly related to the imaginary or symbolism of Jesus in Roman Catholicism or in Christianity in general. Or really, look up the postcards of of Nazism, and you see the sun. It's represent the symbol. The swastika is in regards of a sun symbol. Maybe it will say it. It's a sun symbol, and the cookie Jesus is in regards of mystery Babylon, in regards to the pagan trinity of Father, Mother, and Son. It's if it's the old pagan satanic filthy religion, that's just under Christian labels. It's just the same disgusting filth. You have the same symbols in the Roman Catholic whorehouses, those stinking graveyards of walking dead and all that. You just look into Shinar, or they call it Sumer, and Babylon. Like the queen of the heavens were called Inanna in Sumer. Well, Shinar, the biblical Shinar. They call it Sumer. If you search on Sumer, you can find all the, the pictures. They have some rolls, and you see the pictures and the different. You also, if you search Britannica in regard to the pagan satanic Trinity, Father, that's the moon. Mother, that's the Venus, the star Venus, which we would point out as a planet today, and the cookie Jesus, the sun. There you go. Mystery Babylon revealed. You see the symbols everywhere, pretty much. Mystery Babylon is all around. Anyway, it's not, as it says, so it's not directly related to the imagery or symbolism of Jesus in Roman Catholicism or Christianity in general. Or really? Now let's try to. The swastika was used as a symbol in various cultures and religions throughout history. Yeah, what is the swastika representing? Anyway, the sun. But anyway, let's see if it says it. The swastika was used as a symbol in various cultures and religions throughout history, predating the Nazi regime. Yeah. In the context of Nazi Germany, the swastika was co-opted and distorted as a symbol of Adolf Hitler's ideology, and as far as I know, he actually got the swastika from the Roman Catholic Maniac Institution. So again, another link. Anyway, of Adolf Hitler's ideology of Aryan supremacy and the Nazi Party's racial policies. Anyway, that's where we're going. Christianity, including Roman Catholicism, and well, Roman Catholicism is not Christianity, it's Mystery Babylon. Does not, but anyway, it says Christianity, including Roman Catholicism. Now it's running this ecumenical, Jesuitical nonsense with, including Roman Catholicism. Roman Catholicism is not Christianity, it's Mystery Babylon. Anyway, it does not incorporate the swastika as a religious symbol or use it in its religious imagery. The central symbol of Christianity is the cross, representing the crucifixion and resurrection of Jesus Christ. It is important to be accurate and informed when discussing historical symbols and their connections to the religious traditions. Mixing unrelated symbols or making unfounded associations can lead to misinformation and misunderstanding. What does the swastika represent? What does the swastika symbol represent? Let's see if it actually want to talk about the sun, the SUN. See if it was going to, okay. The swastika is an ancient symbol that has been used in various cultures and religions throughout history. Its meaning and symbolism can vary depending on the culture and historical context in which it's used. In many ancient cultures, including Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, the swastika is a symbol of well-being, good fortune, and auspiciousness. It is often associated with concepts such as prosperity, harmony, and spiritual enlightenment. It doesn't want to talk about the sun. The swastika appearance as a rotational symmetrical cross with arms bent at right angles can also represent movement cycles and the interconnected of different elements of forces. Still nothing in regards of the sun. However, it is crucial to note that swastika association with Nazi Germany and Adolf Hitler's regime during World War II has significantly impacted its perception and symbolism in the modern world. The Nazi adoptions of the swastika as their party symbol has forever linked it to their ideology of hate, racial discrimination, and genocide. Due to this association, the swastika is widely seen as a symbol of hatred, oppression, and the Holocaust. Its public use and display are restricted or prohibited in many countries, particularly in Europe, as a means to prevent the promotion of Nazi ideology and to preserve the memory of the victims of the Holocaust. It is essential to approach the discussions about the swastika with sensitivity and an understanding of its diverse historical culture meanings, while also acknowledging its destructive association in recent history. Let's try to ask it a further deepening, tell me about the connections of the swastika and the sun, and see if it's going to sway around that. Swastika, see if it's going, because they haven't mentioned anything about the sun yet in regards of it. So let's see if we can get anything out of it. Are we ready? Are we ready? Let's see, because it didn't mention anything about the sun, did it? So it's like, why doesn't it mention anything about that the swastika symbol is in regards to the sun? And of course, the Roman Catholics in regards to the sun cookie. Oh yeah, it takes a little time to dig into things and all that. But if you are persistent, you will find a lot of truth by reading the Bible and looking into things. And God guides you to a lot of truth that is not popular, that the devil doesn't want you to know. There's the biblical Trinity with a twist: Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, and the children of God. And then you have the satanic Trinity: Father, Mother, and cookie. Father, Mother, and Son in regards. So you have the priester and the Queen of the Heavens, so called. The pagan satanic Queen of the Heavens. They called it So you have the Father, the Mother. Of course, the Mother is the mother of Jesus, cookie Jesus. And the priester, the father, and the priester has to be there to make the cookie Jesus, to become the real literal body of of the just bullshit, hocus pocus, and then they worship a cookie, anyway. The swastika symbol, so let's see what it says. The swastika symbol has historically been associated with the sun. Whoa! Wow, it really took some time for it to say it, right? I was trying to give it, so associated with the sun in various cultures and belief systems. Oh, wow, why didn't you tell me that beforehand? Why did I need to pull it out of you? This association is rooted in the swastika's visual resemblance to the sun's rays or the rotation of the sun. In many ancient civilizations, the sun was considered a powerful and revered celestial entity associated with life, light, and vitality. The swastika, with its rotational symmetry, has seen as a representation of the sun's moving across the sky or its life-giving power. If you look in the Nazi postcards, you can see the swastika sun going up on the, Anyway, for example, in Hinduism, the swastika is known as the Surya Yantra, or the symbol of the sun god. Sun god, yeah. Surya, it represents the sun radiating energy and is considered an auspicious and positive symbol. That's, of course, paganism in regards of all this. Hinduism is satanic bullshit. Lots of different so-called gods and all that. Just demons misleading people. That's, demons are around, people will say, well, there's no demons and all that. Well, just because you haven't seen them, or that, you don't, if you have a dog flute, you don't hear the dog flute, but the dog hears the sound. The sound is still there, but you don't perceive it. Or in regards of, your eyes are, can see red from violet. Red is the lowest vibration we see, and then violet is the highest vibration. But you have ultraviolet in one direction in regards to higher vibrations, that we need instruments and all that. And some insects, as far as I recall, can actually look into ultraviolet. Then you have the other way, you have infrared. You can't see infrared, you need instruments to do that. But it still exists, you can still, but some snakes, as far as I recall, actually use infrared to catching mice and all that. And then you have radio and the waves in regards to video and all that. You can't perceive it, but if you have an instrument, you can, like the mobile as well, right? You get the information, right, from out here, right? From the space, and the information is in the space, right? We can't taste it or whatever and all that. some might be sensitive for the in regards to all the radiation, but we don't see any of the pictures in the or the sound or anything like. We need a receiver, and then all of a sudden, so just because you haven't in regards to demons and all that, I can tell you they exist. I've had contact with them in the past, and many people today have contact with these demons, and they come in many different disguises. They come as, former family members. They come as spiritual guides and gods and whatever they can, aliens. It's just all satanic. Anyway. For example, in Hinduism, the swastika is known as the Surya Yantra, or the symbol of the sun god Surya. It represents the sun radiating energy as considered an auspicious and positive symbol. Similarly, in ancient European culture, the swastika was associated with solar deities and sun life-giving power. Oh! The symbol was found in archaeological artifacts and artwork from pre-Christian European civilizations. It is important to note that these historical associations between the swastika and the sun existed independently of the Nazi usage. The Nazi regime appropriation of the swastika distorted its original meanings and gave it a vastly different and destructive connotation. So, worshipping the devil apparently through sun god worship apparently is not any bad thing, or is that what you're saying? Due to the association with the Nazi Germany, the swastika's connection to the sun is often overshadowed or forgotten in contemporary discourses. It is crucial to approach this topic with sensitivity and an awareness of the symbol's complex historical context. So I guess it's not bad that people are worshiping the sun god and all that. Anyway, okay. So let's try to make so the swastika is a sun symbol, and in the Nazi flag representing the sun. Question mark. Let's see what it says. So the swastika is a sun symbol, and in the Nazi flag representing the sun. And Hitler, or maybe you should just let it, but it's just writing a lot of things instead of, it just can't write small things. Apparently, it just has to. Okay, let's see what it says. So I'm saying, so the swastika is a sun symbol, and in the Nazi flag representing the sun. So I see, yes, in the context of the Nazi flag, the swastika was intended to represent the sun. The swastika was placed on a red background within a white circle, symbolizing the sun against the sky. Well, I don't know how that red, whatever. But anyway, the red, But anyway, the Nazi Party adopted the swastika as their official emblem in the early 1920s. They used it extensively in their propaganda, uniforms, and flags, including the most well-known flag with a black swastika on a white circle. Oh yeah. We also have the Christian, because it's Roman Catholicism. It's just. Anyway, including the most well-known flag with a black swastika on a white circle centered on a red background. Yeah, let's see if we can get it to actually, because that sun symbol in the flag is representing the sun cookie, and which it says it's not. But you see, the Roman Catholics is in regard to the mystery Babylon religion and the cookie thing, that they put in a sunburst monstrance and worship and all that, and walk around with it and put on the altar and all that. That is the old satanic, mystery religion of sun worship. Anyway, you can see the monstrance. You can just search it up. You can see these sun rays and all that. It's just, anyway, it's a mystery. And if you actually look into it, you can, what do you call it? Clothe this system naked in shame. Anyway, so let's see. So the Nazi party adopted the swastika as the official emblem in the early 1920s. They used it extensively in their propaganda, uniforms, and flags, including the most well-known flag with a black swastika on a white circle centered on a red background. The Nazi regime sought to associate their ideology with ancient Aryan symbols and ideas of power and supremacy. They saw the swastika as a symbol of their purported Aryan heritage and used it to represent their vision of a new order under Nazi rule. It is important to emphasize that the Nazi uses of the swastika has forever linked it to the atrocities committed during World War II, including the Holocaust. Today, the swastika is overwhelmingly associated with Nazi Germany and is widely condemned as a symbol of hate and discrimination. Okay, so inside, so the white circle in the Nazi flag is the sun? Question mark. Let's see what it says. Now you can find it on Nazi postcards and all that, moving on there, and in Hitler and all that, and it's just, but it's really, you pretty much nearly have to, push it. Let's see here. The white circle in the Nazi flag with the swastika positioned in the center, and of course the swastika is a sun symbol in itself, is commonly interpreted as representing the sun. The red background symbolizes the blood and sacrifices associated with the Nazi ideology. That might be, I wonder if that's, I really didn't read it in regards to red. Of course, we also have the black or the red horse in the Book of Revelation. I don't know if that has something. Some believe that it has something in regards to those red colors, come and see, and red horse in regards to taking peace and all that. But anyway, you have communism as well, using the red color and all that. But it says the red background symbolizes the blood and sacrifices associated with the Nazi ideology. That might be correct. I don't know. But the combination of the white circle and the red background is meant to evoke imaginary of the sun against the sky. So the combination of the white circle and the red background is meant to evoke imaginary of the sun against the sky. In any case, when you see all these postcards, you can find all these Nazi postcards. If you search on maybe Google, sometimes you can find like a thing where it opens up. You need to find the right thing, and then it just opens up and you see one postcard after another, one symbol after another. And by the way, in regards of Nazism being Roman Catholicism, if you look on the Nazi belts, it says God uns, what was that? Nazi belts are just 2 seconds. Nazi belt buckle, God uns. So it's Roman Catholicism. It's here we go. If you just search on the Nazi buckle belts, you will find it like God mit uns. God is with us, and then you have sometimes the symbol of the cookie Jesus of the Roman Catholics, and you have the victory laurels, and you have the eagle and the sun symbol. It's just, you give me a break. This is one of the buckles, okay? God mit uns, okay? God mit uns. That's a Nazi belt. This is just one of them. There are so many of these. Victory laurels, God mit uns, the eagle, the Roman eagle. Well, anyway, and you have the sun symbol, standing on the sun symbol. Anyway, you can also see the cookie Jesus here, so you have different ways of symbols and all that. It's just all satanic bullshit, pretty much. Yeah. Just search on buckle belts, Nazi buckle belts. Here you go. Here we have the cookie Jesus, okay? Who are they fighting for? The cookie Jesus. God mit uns, the cookie Jesus. The sun cookie Jesus. Mystery Babylon revealed. Victory to Roman Catholicism. This is, for the devil. Nothing to do with Christianity. And you can see, there's many symbols of lots of buckle belts and all that. It's just, here we have another Nazi, and yeah. So that's God mit uns. Oh, yeah. God mit uns. Wonder. That means God is with us or with me or something like that. So let's just, I can't remember. Let's try to. God German into English. Okay, so you have all the Roman salute, you have Roman Catholic Hitler, and many of these higher people are Roman Catholics because it was a Roman Catholic movement. Yeah, Protestants ended up partaking in this movement of being killed, but they partook in this movement because they didn't know who the Antichrist was anymore. That was the Bekennenden Kirche was one of the groups that actually was like, isn't there something about that the papacy or the Pope is the Antichrist in regards of joining the state church and all that? So they concluded by joining the German state church that has something to do with the Pope, I wonder how they connected that together, And then, wasn't there something about that the papacy being the Antichrist? Oh yeah, Martin Luther. Actually, we could also ask you in regards to some of the quotations from the Protestants. Let's see if it can actually do that as well. But anyway, Protestant. You know how many lies and deceptions we have in this world, People just don't know these things. Anyway, German to Gott means uns. Let's see here. Gott means uns. Let's see if we can. German to English. Let's see. Translate. So we get it right. Because I can't remember everything. Gott mit uns. It's just God mit uns. So we need to turn that around. God with us. God with us. What God is with them? Because you see, the Nazis were Christians. Roman Catholicism. Okay? And some so-called Protestants partook because they did not know who the Antichrist was anymore. And thereby, you have... Yeah. It's disgusting. Anyway. So let's see. So the combination of the white circle and the red background is meant to evoke imaginary of the sun against the sky. And of course, you can just look on the... maybe I can actually just... it should be pretty, let's just go on Google here and just, although Google is a very, but anyway, let's see, Nazi postcard, sun, something. Let's see, it should be pretty easy to find, Let's see if we have, that's just one here, Let's see, oh, what's coming up there? That's just one symbol, and sometimes when you actually click one of the, you can it will sometimes open for a lot of others. There's some postcards somewhere, but there you go. And you have some sun rays in the background. This is the sun cookie of the Roman Catholics. Oh yeah, and there we go. That's a little thing. Sun rays. That looks like the monstrance of the. And of course, Christ Mass, in regards to how the Nazis co-opted Christ Mass. Well, Christ Mass is Satanism. Christ Mass. You see the Antichrist on the television on the 24-25 December. There's nothing in regards of counting to 24-25 in the Bible. Oh, let me see another. Well, the sun goes up and it says something and all that. You can find so many postcards. Here we go with Hitler. And what is he standing with? Oh, the sun in the background, right? And there's some text I can't, I try to translate it sometime. But anyway, that's, so now here we have another one, right? What is coming up there? The sun is coming up. It's Roman Catholicism. But it's there's paganism. Yeah, but Roman Catholicism is the mixture of it is paganism with a facade of Christianity. It's not Christianity, it's the devil's masterpiece of a deceptive system that proclaims itself, Christian, but it's not. It's just the devil's, Christ was warning us about wolves in sheep clothing. He wasn't warning us about Muhammad, because Muhammad was a stinking wolf, Muhammad, denied that Jesus was God. He denied that he was the Son of God. He denied that he was executed on a tree, and thereby they also, denied that he died for the sins of the world, and denied his resurrection, And here with the Japanese flag is another sun symbol, you have all these symbols, you have moon symbols and sun symbols, and, anyway, you have all these from, Mystery Babylon. In any case, so I remember where they have the Nazi flag and the Japanese flag, and talking about that it represented the sun, both of them, and all that. So there you go. Anyway, So let's see here. So let's see here. So where did we come to? Let's take it from the beginning, I guess. The white circle in the Nazi flag with the swastika positioned in the center is commonly interpreted as representing the sun. Oh, really? The red background symbolizes the blood and sacrifices associated with the Nazi ideology. The combination of the white circle and the red background is meant to evoke imaginary of the sun against the sky. Well, we can at least see a lot of postcards in regard to that. I've seen a lot of postcards where they put the sun and the swastika and all that. Anyway, I also seen it mentioned where you can see the person writing knows what it is. The Nazi Party's choice of the swastika within the white circle on a red background was intended to create a visual, striking, and recognizable symbol that conveyed the ideology and aspirations. The sun imagery aligned with the ideas of power, renewal, and the supposed Aryan heritage that they sought to promote. It is important to note that the interpretation of symbols can vary and different individuals or groups may perceive them differently based on their knowledge and cultural backgrounds. However, in the context of the Nazi flag, the white circle is commonly associated with representing the sun. Yeah. Okay, anyway, so now we have connections, right, with the swastika in regard to the sun, and in regard to the symbol in the flag representing the sun. I didn't know in regards to the red thing that it actually, so I'm not in regards to the red background symbolizes the blood and sacrifices associated with the Nazi ideology. I didn't know. I was thinking, in regards to, but we have the red horse in the book of Revelation, although I don't know but some have connected it with like communism and these, the war in regards to going into war and, because it has the red horse with the rider has a huge sword and to take peace from the earth and all that. And the first horse is the one that seems to be, conquering with peace, man. Because we know the Antichrist seems to be, doing that as well. Anyway, so not to get further into that, but anyway, so now we have connected it, and it still tells me a lot of things, and yet it doesn't want to connect with the cookie Jesus. So maybe let's try to do the Roman Catholics believe that the wafer becomes Jesus? Let's see what it says. So do the Roman Catholics believe that the wafer becomes Jesus? It should say yes. Well, let's see. It's just incredible. It's like I write a little one and then just just give me a whole bunch of information. It could just have been saying okay. It could just have said yes, but then it further goes on. Okay, so do the Roman Catholics believe that the wafer becomes Jesus? And it says yes. In Roman Catholicism, the belief in the Eucharist is that during the sacrament of the Holy Communion, there we go with the holy nonsense again, right? The bread commonly known as the wafer or host is believed to undergo a transformation known as transubstantiation. Oh yeah. According to Catholic doctrine, the bread is believed to become the body of Jesus Christ, and the wine becomes his blood, while retaining the appearance of bread and wine. Of course, they use some Greek philosopher for that bullshit doctrine. Now, of course, the beast is, having Grecian things in it, like it has some Medo-Persians, and it has some, Babylonian in it and all that. We know that from the first beast in the book of Revelation, where we get more details about the beast of the number 666, which we know is Roman because we know the book of Daniel, and we intertwine the information and we gather wisdom and knowledge provided by God, unnaturally getting information so we can see through the deceptions of the devil, because the Bible is true in regards to, of course we have a wolf in sheep clothing as well in the New Testament. But in any case, the first Pope, Pope Paulus the First. Anyway, but that's another topic. We already had Protestants in the first century. They were the real Christians who protested against Roman Roman Pharisee Pope Paulus the First, who might also have been an Edo, what do you call it, Herodian, which again, the Herodians go back to the Edomites. So anyway, whatever. That's a whole nother topic in itself. But he was rejected by all Asia. Now, Asia was the Judaizing area that stood against the Romanizers. You have the Judaizers, those are the real Christians, and you have the Romanizers. You have the wheat and you have the tares, and they're growing up until the harvest and all that. And then the tares will be gathered together, and the tares are darnel. They have poisonous fruit and all that compared to the wheat, which has good eatable fruit, and the tares will be taken, or the darnel will be taken, collected together and burned, and the wheat will be taken into the barn of Jesus Christ. Anyway, that's the parable thing. You can go look into that. Anyway, and the difference between them are in regards to the law of God. The Romanizers are doing everything in their power to destroy the law of God, and the Judaizers are going the other way, upholding the law of God, guarding the law of God. Anyway, but that's like pulling in one is pulling in one direction, and the other are pulling in the other direction, and anyway. So, one group is the children of God, and the other group is the children of the devil, and but both of them proclaim themselves Christians. So, okay, so let's see again, let's take this again. Do the Roman Catholics believe that the wafer become Jesus? Yes. In Roman Catholicism, the belief in the Eucharist is that during the sacrament of the Holy Communion, so-called holy, you just need to, in this Roman Catholicism, you just need to say unholy communion, like the unholy father, unholy figure, pretty much. Anyway, okay, let's continue. The bread commonly known as the wafer or host is believed to undergo a transformation known as transubstantiation, like hocus pocus. And there we go, the priester, the hireling, the Babylonian priester, has made this little thing into God, apparently. Yeah. So transformation known as, and you can't make the cookie Jesus without one of these so-called fathers, these fagers, Anyway, now you have the fager, right, who is the so-called father of the cookie. Then you have the mother, which is the mother of the cookie, and then you see the transubstantiation, and then you have the son, Yeah, the son. Yeah. Anyway, so. The bread commonly known as the wafer or host is believed to undergo a transformation known as transubstantiation. And that goes back to Aristotle, the Greek philosopher. And I think the heaven and hell doctrine goes back to Plato. But anyway, it's, you don't go to heaven when you die, just you go to Sheol. It's just Greek for Hades. That's the realm of the dead, where for the living and the dead, awaiting resurrection to either everlasting life or eternal death, Anyway, according to Catholic doctrine, the bread is believed to become the body of Jesus Christ, and the wine becomes his blood, while retaining the appearance of bread and wine. And you can go to all this, the Roman Catholics and Aristotle and all this pagan satanic philosopher nonsense. And you don't need to intermix it with the Bible. Just read the Bible instead of all this. It's learning against learning, So this belief is rooted in the Last Supper, where Jesus is said to have instituted the sacrament of the Eucharist, instructing his disciples to do this in memory of me. Oh my, it even says it. Do this in memory. It's like, you gotta be kidding me. Yeah, do this in memory. That means that bread is not really his real bread, Like when Jesus talks about, I'm the living bread, me standing here, I'm the living bread from the heavens. There's not a bread standing there, literally bread, right? It's just, but, the papists want to, mix, yeah. So instructing his disciples to and it's in, so-called do this in memory of me. The Catholic Church teaches that the consecration performed by a validly ordained, there we go, in regards of a priest, brings about this transformation. So again, a Roman Catholic has to have a priester, because if they don't have a priest or hireling or one of these priests of the devil, they can't make the cookie Jesus, and just oh my, that's just. So anyway, a validly ordained priest brings about this transformation, making the Eucharist a central and sacred aspect of Catholic worship. Oh yeah, because they worship this cookie as well, which is the Son. They put it in a monstrance, It is important to note that the belief in the Eucharist as the real presence of Jesus is a distinctive aspect of Catholic theology and differs from the belief held by other Christian denominations. Different Christian traditions have varying interpretations of the nature and significance of the bread and wine in the Lord's Supper or communion. Yeah, anyway, okay. So let's see here. What can we... So now it pretty much have connected... Well, okay. So... I don't know if it would accept that. It probably wouldn't accept that because it tried to deny things in regard to the flag. So, but anyway, we have the. So let's see. So Hitler was grown up as. Let's just take what it accepts, right? Grown up as a Roman Catholic, right? So he would have done the mass, right? And the flag of the Nazis have a sun symbol on it, and the Roman or the Nazi salute is the same as the Roman salute, and the cookie Jesus is representing the Son, yet you see no connection. I see it. And the cookie Jesus of Catholicism, I can't even spell it at the moment. Catholicism is representing the Son, like being put in the monstrance or sunburst monstrance, worshipped by papists, Roman Catholic. I don't know if worshipped by papist. Let's try to see if it can. Yet you see no connection. Let's try it. Okay. So Hitler was grown up as a Roman Catholic, and the flag of the Nazis have a sun symbol on it, and the Nazi salute is the same as the Roman salute, and the cookie Jesus of Roman Catholicism is representing the sun, like being put in a sunburst monstrance worshipped by papists, yet you see no connection. Okay, let's see what it says. While it is true that Adolf Hitler was baptized into the Roman Catholic Church as an infant, it is important to note that his personal belief and ideologies diverge significantly from the traditional Catholic teachings. Hitler developed a distorted and hateful ideology rooted in Nazism, which probably, one of the reasons why Roman Catholics like Nazism, and it's like, if you go on Gap, for example, that's a Roman Catholic platform, you can find Nazis and a lot of hatred against the Jews. Why? Because Roman Catholicism always hated the Jews, and Nazism is Roman Catholicism. That's just incredible. Anyway, it is important, and they hate the Judaizers. I talked to or wrote with a Knight of Columbus, 4th degree. And after he became so stirred up, so he banned me on Gab, and then he wrote an article against the modern Judaizers. Yeah, the same guy. I guess he... Anyway, and then you can, if you go read the modern Judaizers, you can see what they believe, So, it's just, that there's truth in what is written. You just have to discern the information, Anyway, you can learn, things from Roman Catholics. You just have to discern what is, the things. Like there's the Global Vatican, written by a former U.S. Diplomat and all that. You can learn a lot from that book, in regards to the Global Vatican, But you still have to, he's a Roman Catholic, so you still have to, but that's a lot of, truth, coming true, that people don't tend to know about. How much power the Vatican really has in this world. Anyway, so while it is, we're already in regards to this Nazism, which propagated notions of Aryan supremacy, anti-Semitism, and totalitarianism. Oh yeah, fascism, right? Well, fascism again is the preferred Roman Catholic, way of running things. Anyway, the swastika symbol used in the Nazi flag does resemble the sun. Oh, it does. Oh, and the Nazi salute does bear some similarity. You gotta be kidding me. It still says it does bear some similarities. Oh, just some similarities. Just it bears some similarities to the Roman salute. Oh yeah. I actually have a video in regards of where the Pope, I think he's in Argentina and all that, and they make the Nazi salute, well, the Roman salute. It's just. However, it is, well, that's I had another. Yeah, anyway, it's the truth, so it stays. It's the information is out there if you dig around. You will come by the truth here and there and all that. However, it is essential to understand that the Nazi regime appropriated and distorted various symbols for their own purposes, often unrelated to their original meaning. So give me a break. Drawing. Oh yeah. In regards to taking the oath, the Nazis are taking the oath. They have 3 fingers up and all that. How does the Swiss Guard, in regards to the Vatican, how do they take their oath? Oh, 3 fingers as well. Oh yeah, and in regards of the Nazis taking the oath, isn't there something in regards of taking the oath in regards of God, and having the belt where it says God mit uns, God is with us, and all that. I guess I just, I wonder what, and then they have the cookie Jesus on the belt. It must be really hard to get the connection of the cookie Jesus on the belt, the sun symbol, and in regards of mystery Babylon, and all roads leads to Rome. There's a lot of lies in Latin. Anyway, so the swastika. Okay, so the swastika symbol used in Nazi flag does resemble the sun. The Nazi salute does bear some similarities to the Roman salute. Oh, just some similarities. However, it is essential to understand the Nazi regime appropriated and distorted various symbols for their own purposes, often unrelated to the original meanings. It's incredible how it's trying to just, let's just, put this over here, right? Let's get some coffee here. It's just incredible. But when and have, researching and all that, you find out that they are lying to you. They're deceiving you. This world is so wicked, And we know who the Antichrist is. It's the papacy. The Antichrist has been the Antichrist for, hundreds and hundreds of years. It's the 8, one of the 7 in regards to the first beast. That's the papacy. And it's Roman, because the little horn is the Antichrist of the book of Daniel. It has been here, for hundreds of years, changing times, thinking to change times and laws. So maybe there's some times and laws that actually is still valid. Oh yeah, the law of God compared to the law of the Antichrist. And remember, Satan wanna be like God. So the papacy guy wanna be like God, It's because he's the hand puppet of the devil, And when you see the pyramid in regards of Novus Ordo Seclorum and all that, you see the eye on the top and all that, the cap, the upper capstone and all that. That's the papacy. And behind the papacy stands the devil. He's giving the power and dominion to the papacy, and the rest of the pyramid is the rest of the, satanic system in this world. Romanism is everywhere. You have all these different kinds of movements under different names and all that. It's mystery Babylon. It's Romanism. The last beast is Roman. So you just need to find the Roman king. Where's the Roman king? He's seated in the Vatican. Yep. Could actually be interesting to ask what does Vatican means in Latin in regards of it. Maybe that'll be interesting in regards of what it would say to that. But anyway, and who's fought to change times and laws? What calendar are we using? Oh, the Roman calendar. And the Orthodox, of course, there's a conflict between the Roman Catholics and the Orthodox, although it's potato, and all that. They're both worshipping the devil. But the problem is, if you want to be the bishop of bishops, everybody needs to follow you, you know? So you have a conflict, you know, in regards to the crossing, the right direction, and keeping it to the Gregorian calendar, the Roman Gregorian sun calendar compared to the Roman Julian calendar. Julian calendar in regards of Julius Caesar, and Gregorian calendar in regards of Gregory the 13th, the Pope, you know, and all that. It's all Roman bullshit, but there's some variations, you know. They keep a little, you know, Christ Mass, and, you know, Mary Christ Mass, and the pagan satanic New Year of Janus. It's kept a little differently, you know. The two-headed god of Romanism and all. It's all bullshit. Go back to the Bible, you know. We'll have all this pagan bullshit. It's a dark, dark world, you know. The devil is, you know, and if people don't stand up for truth, we lose it because the world is full of bullshit, you know. Anyway, so let's see here. So the swastika symbol used in the Nazi flag does resemble the sun. Oh. And we also have, you know, in regards of the round disc and all that, and the Nazi salute does bear some similarities to the Roman salute. Give me a break. Similarities. However, it is essential to understand that the Nazi regime appropriated and distorted various symbols for their own purposes, often unrelated to their original meanings. Anyway, drawing direct connection between Hitler's action and Roman Catholicism as a whole oversimplifies the complex historical dynamics at play. Oh, really? Oh, really? You think? Really? Maybe someone doesn't want to know in regards. Maybe they don't want to tell us the connections. How many connections point have I made? You know, the Vatican red lines. Oh, the Nazis were fleeing through the Vatican red lines to Roman Catholic Argentina and the Ustashi as well, you know. The Roman Catholic Croat, and it was a conflict between Roman Catholicism and the Orthodox, you know. Also in regards to the war of Ukraine and Russia and all that, you have to think about it from a Roman Catholic view. Now, what did the Ukrainians do? You know, some of the Ukrainians began to keep Western tradition, or so-called, whatever, you know. And what is Western tradition? Yeah, that's the Antichrist. They kept Christ Mass and, you know, the New Year according to, in a rebellion against Russia's Orthodox, you know. They began to keep it according to the Antichrist, like the rest of the Western nations, whatever you want to call it, you know. That's the term we use, I guess, in regards to the Western world, you know. It's incredible, you know. We should get back to the Bible, you know. Anyway, the vast majority of drawing direct connections between Hitler's action and Roman Catholicism as a whole oversimplifies the complex historical dynamics at play. The vast majority of Roman Catholics do not support or condone Hitler's ideologies or the atrocities committed during the Nazi era. Oh, really? Yeah, well, one thing is to, you know, another thing is to, you know, wolves in sheep clothing. When they get the chance, they will murder you, you know. Christians, they have murdered Christians throughout history. It's the same with Mohammedanism. But Mohammedanism are plain stinking wolves, whereas Roman Catholicism is wolves in sheep clothing. And that was what Yeshua warned us about. Well, Jesus, you know, Jesus. Yeshua is his real Hebrew name. Of course, the Jews doesn't call him that. They call him Yeshu, which is an acronym for may his name be obliterated or blotted out. But anyway, so they still use the name Yeshua. I met a Jew in Jerusalem that was named Yeshua, and there's a lot of other Jews that is actually using that name. But they have a special name for Jesus, you know, which is not so nice. But you know, yeah. But you know, it's just any case. It is, yeah, the vast majority of Roman Catholics do not support or condone Hitler's ideologies or the atrocities committed during the Nazi era. The drunken whore of Rome is not finished. She's still, yeah, he's still continuing. They whitewash history. They remove the history of Roman Catholicism, like Ustashi. Many people haven't heard about Ustashi, and they are whitewashing history also in regards to Nazism and all that. They're removing all of it. It's still there. It's still there. And then we disbelieve because we never heard about it. They remove all the Protestant history. Oh, we want to ask about if it can quote some of the Protestants in regards to the Antichrist. Yeah, that would be interesting just to have some. Anyway, so the vast majority of Roman Catholics do not. Well, anyway, it seems like it's protecting Roman Catholicism. It is crucial to approach historical analysis with care and avoid making sweeping generalizations or attributing the actions of individuals or specific groups to an entire religious tradition, blaming an entire religious community for the actions of a few individuals, just a few individuals, or making unfounded associations can perpetuate misunderstandings and prejudice. Let me see. Let's try to ask it. If you are you accursed if you according to let's try this. According to Roman law, are you accursed? Accursed, how do you say it? Accursed. I was writing it like accursed if you deny the cookie cheese. I don't know if it can. I'm not sure if it actually going to, but let's see. According to Roman law, are you accursed if you deny the cookie cheeses? Let's try to ask it if it understands. Okay, it says, I'm sorry, but I'm not able to provide you with the most. Okay. I'm sorry, but I'm not able to provide you with the most up-to-date information on Roman law, as my training data only goes up until 2021, and I do not have access to real-time legal updates or specific regional laws. Laws can vary across different countries and jurisdictions. By the way, when judges are saying in regards to the Vatican, I don't think we have jurisdiction for that. When all the the pedophile priestess and all that they are protecting, and just that's disgusting. Anyway, and it's important to consult legal sources or legal professionals for accurate in current information. Okay. That being said, freedom of religion and freedom of expression are fundamental human rights protected by international legal frameworks and many national laws. These rights generally allow individuals to hold and express their beliefs, including religious beliefs, as long as they are not infringe upon the rights and freedoms of others or incite violence or hatred. Just to be clear, right? The law of God says that you shall only have Him as God, right? Jehovah is the only God that you're allowed to, have. That's the law of God. You're not allowed to worship the demons, which comes in many disguises and all that. But anyway, you're not allowed to worship a cookie, a piece of bread, because it's worshiping the devil, It's just a mystery Babylon the Great, just the same old bullshit, just in Christian clothing, Anyway. These rights generally allow individuals to hold and express their beliefs, including religious beliefs, as long as they do not infringe upon the rights and freedoms of others or incite violence or hatred. Just bear in mind, after people began to read the Bible zealously, when Luther translated the Bible into the German tongue and William Tyndale translated the Greek into English and got it smuggled in, and of course they cut him and they burned him on the stake, because I guess it's just so terrible to translate the Bible and make people able to read it. Although they did also have the Wycliffe Bible as well, translated from the Latin. But anyway, and Haas, of course, the cook goose, that read Wycliffe's and the Bible and stood on the Bible, he was burned on the stake as well by the Roman Catholics, you know. We have so much persecution. Just read the Fox's Book of Martyrs. It's just one story after another, and you can see what the issues are. There's three big issues for Roman Catholics: that you deny the authority of the papacy as the head of the Christian church. Because who's the head of the Christian church? Christ is the head of the church. And, you deny that he's the vicar of Christ. Who's the vicar of Christ? Oh, the Holy Spirit is the vicar of Christ. Oh, yeah, that's true. Anyway, so, denying the papacy is one of those that really make Roman Catholic really, demons in them and all that. But anyway, that stirs up the demons. Rejecting the Queen of the Heavens, so-called Mary, that's not Mary, that's a diabolical, satanic bullshit, demons and all that. It's just not. And you can take it from both sides. You can study in regards to this Inanna, Easter, whatever names, Venus and all that. Many names. This disgusting, filthy nonsense are going under many names throughout. This pagan, satanic. Trinity with a twist in some sense, Father, Mother, and Son. It's just, and of course the children of the devil, But it goes under many names and all that. They just call her Mary, and actually, so-called Mary is actually saying the same thing. So you can go one direction that, she says that she's known under many names throughout the world, and then you could just go, so you can take it from both directions, if you research the topic, and that's not so-called Mary speaking, that's for sure, Anyway, it's just the same satanic nonsense under a Christian facade, and then you have the sun cookie, yeah, the sun, S-U-N. Anyway, so let's see here. But anyway, the Protestant nations had anti-Catholic laws. And then, of course, the Roman Catholics have been working to, get us into a neutral zone. So we went from going in according to the Bible, then getting us into a neutral zone, and then they want us further under the authority, totally under the papacy. That's the Roman world order. The new world, the new world order is the Roman world order. The shadow government is Romanism. The deep state and all that, it's Romanism. Anyway, but that's what the Bible also says, Find the Roman king and you find the Antichrist. Well, all roads leads to Rome. Ever heard that term? Lies in Latin. Anyway. So, let's see here. So that was a lot of anti-Catholic laws, and they just pretty much have been until 1956. The Norwegians, which actually is just part of Denmark in some sense, we have Danish, Anyway, but until 1956, the Jesuits were not allowed on Norwegian soil, and they got that from the Danes, And the Danes fell faster than the Norwegians, but both of them have now fallen pretty much. We don't know anything. We're so-called Protestants. I don't see any Protestants around. No one knows in regards to who the Antichrist is. How are you going to protest if you don't know who the Antichrist is? Just give it. So you're not a Protestant anymore. They're not talking about the Antichrist anymore. No one reads the Bible, and you have Satanists and the Freemasons, satanic Freemasons. Oh, they call themselves Christians. Every 13 preacher or hireling in the churches, whatever, the congregations are Freemason. You have a Satanist, and that's mainstream, thing and all that. Then you have all the rest that they haven't proclaimed. That's just disgusting. It's anyway. So Freemasonry is just Roman Catholicism, and in regards of the things that we have in Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and Iceland, I think it is, it's just for Protestants. Now we also have a Jewish section, B'nai Brit and all that. But anyway, yeah, it's the Roman world order, and you have links for this nonsense everywhere. Anyway, in 1982, Denmark took contact to the Vatican again after over 400 years. because we had some Protestant kings, and I think it was 1530, 35 or 36, that the Protestant king cut the connection to the papacy, because we know he was the Antichrist. So, and 1989, we had the Antichrist come to Denmark, and with the bloody Margrethe, in regards to the so-called Queen of Denmark, at least have met the Antichrist 4 times. So 3 times in Rome and once in Denmark when he came, by. Okay. Yep. So it's important to respect. Okay, it continues. It's important to respect diverse religious beliefs and engage in respectful dialogue when discussing matters of faith. If you have concerns about specific laws or legal issues, it is recommended to consult appropriate legal resources or seek advice from legal professionals familiar with the specific jurisdiction in question. Okay, let's try to be more specific, right? Let's actually ask it, how many curses is there in the Council of Trent document against heretics? Let's see if it should be, I think it's around 125, but I haven't counted them, at least over 100. Let's see. The Council of Trent was in regards to a document against, pretty much Christians, Let's see here. The Council of Trent, it was also run by Jesuits. So anyway, the Council of Trent, which took place between 1545 to 1563. Now these things we don't know, right? Many of the people don't know about these things. I'm just, it's not like I don't know much. I just digged into a lot of the information we do not know. It's because we just become totally, they just remove the history. Our Protestant history in regards to the Dark Age, we're coming out of the Dark Age where, you have all these people that are zealous for reading the Bible and all that, and we just let it all go. We pretty much have everything, fixed on a silver platter, and we just gave it away. We didn't continue to pull rope away from the devil, and now he's taking more and more and more and more because we don't care. Evolution, by the way, also is Nazism is based on evolution. Communism, is based on evolution, or at least satanic communism. Of course, you have biblical communism, which is based on creationism. But in any case, satanic communism and Nazism and atheism and all that based on satanic evolution. Roman Catholicism itself is promoting evolution. Yeah, but evolution is satanic bullshit, and you can... it's far older than Darwin. You can lead it back through the Romans, to the Greeks, into Egypt, Babylon, India, and all that. It's old pagan bullshit of lies, and it mixes with the New Age nonsense, and in regard to evolving, it's just bullshit, It's nothing with the truth. Read the beginning of the Bible, and you understand that the gods, Jehovah, created the heavens and the earth in 6 days, and rested on the 7th day. There's no evolution. The world is around 6,000 years old in total, plus minus a couple of hundreds of years. It's not even 10,000 years old, Everything is going downhill. It's not going uphill. Anyway, we have evidence for the worldwide flood all over the world. In regards to the fossils, you don't just make a fossil. You need some dirt and all that, and a worldwide flood, pretty much does that. And we have soft tissue and so-called dinosaur bones. They were actually called dragons before 1841 or something like that. They were actually called dragons. So we have also histories of dragons and all that. And we also have footprints with people and dinosaurs, dragons, both one way or the other way and all that. And they don't want us to know because it's not really science. It's science. Real science have been mixed with pagan philosophy, PhD, doctors of philosopher, they're bullshitters, many of them. Anyway, that's just a sidestep. Anyway, let's get back to this. The Council of Trent, which took place between 1545 and 1563, was an ecumenical council of the Roman Catholic Church. It addressed various doctrinal and disciplinary matters within the church. but it did not specifically produce a document titled Council of Trent Document Against Heretic. Now, I was asking how many anathemas there is in the document, right? But anyway, the Council of Trent did, however, issue a number of decrees and canons aimed at clarifying Catholic doctrine and combating perceived errors or heresies of the time. Yeah, you see, the Protestants was around and they had protested against this system of bullshit and came out of the Dark Age. You know, people will say the Bible is a book of slavery. Well, it was actually the Bible that took us out of the Dark Age. Now, of course, they want to whitewash the Dark Age as well. Of course, the Roman Catholics believe it's the Golden Age, and they want another Golden Age. Anyway, so these decrees addressed topics such as the authority of Scripture and tradition, the sacraments, the Mass, Christ, Mass. Okay, they just took out the S. And Mary, Christ, Mass, and the Antichrist shown in the television worldwide from the Vatican, and in Denmark it's like 0000 Roman time. Anyway, on the 24, 25 December, again, Roman calendar, you actually have September, November, December, right? September 7 in Roman numbers. September, October. That's just 2 seconds. My brain is just not. September, October, November, December. 7, 8, 9, 10. Isn't that interesting? So the last 4 months of the year, according to now a day, is actually 7, 8, and 9 and 10. Then you have the January. That's in regards to the god of Janus, in regards to the pagan satanic New Year in the winter, and you have different New Years all over the world. You just have to, it doesn't matter, all these different faulty New Years. You have to go with the Bible. What does Jehovah tells us? The New Year's in spring. And that's also when they usually fix this day of bullshit, right? Where they bullshit people, where you apparently allowed to lie. The 1st of May or something like that, or something. Oh, it's here. Or is it the 1st of March? Sorry, 1st of March. What is it called this day? I can't remember. But they're making jokes about people actually continuing to keep it in the spring. Now they might not have been totally correct, but they were still keeping it in the spring, But I think it was March, but anyway, in the spring. Yeah, that seems to be. Anyway, you can look that up for yourself and all that. I can't remember everything, but just go with the Bible. You can use all your life in regards of these satanic pagan traditions, because it's just all these, and it mixes together and stuff like that, and different names and all, and a little here and a little there, and you have the oak tree and the palm tree in regards to worship of the so-called holy tree, and then we have the tree thing and Christ. All this bullshit, Just go with the Bible. We have the Christian festivals in the Bible, okay? And Christmas is not one of them. Christmas is the old pagan religion of sun worship. Sol Invictus, Mithra, Apollo, all these different Uto, Shamash. If you wanna look into the this pagan trinity in regards to Father, Mother, and Son and all that, you can search on Britannica, Shamash, and there you go. You can just get a little, and then you can go from there. Yes, a lot of but again, you can just go to the Bible and actually, what are actually the Christian festivals? Well, God told us. What are the Christian festivals that Christ actually kept and the Christians afterwards also kept, and has been a conflict with the Romanizers? The Judaizers and the Romanizers have been in conflict in regards of lawlessness compared to law obedience, And that's not to say that these, the Judaizers are perfect, but understanding that the law is still valid and in effect compared to those that try to do the opposite. And say it's a curse and it's bad, and if you lose salvation if you try to keep the law of God, you gotta be kidding me. But if you keep the laws of the Antichrist, apparently you don't lose salvation, And if you worship the devil, you will keep. Just give me a break. All this nonsense there, it's very slick, and the devil is very slick. And Roman Catholicism is just the masterpiece of the devil. Anyway, so Let's see here. So the Council of Trent did, however, issue a number of decrees and canons aimed at clarifying Catholic doctrine and combating perceived errors or heresies of the time. These decrees addressed topics such as the authority of scripture and tradition, the sacraments, the mass, and other theological matters. While some of these decrees did include anathemas, that's a curse, and by the way, Roman Pharisee Pope Paulus I is actually the first one instigating this doctrine. This is the tool of the devil to sow lawlessness. Now, he does tell a lot of truth, but, we're warned about the leaven of the Pharisees. Now, what is leaven? You usually throw the leaven out at the Christian festival in the spring, the 7 days of unleavened bread. You eat the Passover meal at the first day of unleavened bread. You throw the leaven out to remind yourself to throw out the false doctrines, all this nonsense out, and have clean teaching of Jesus Christ, and biblical teaching. But we don't keep those, we keep, anyway. So while some of these decrees did include anathemas or condemnations against specific theological errors, it is not possible to provide an exact number of curses or anathemas contained within the Council of Trent documents without specific references. The decrees and canons of the Council of Trent are extensive and cover a wide range of topics. Yeah, we have pretty much one main document where you have these different subjects and all that. It should be able to count, maybe not. Maybe it's a little hard to, but that's a lot. Over 100, as far as I know, 125, but I haven't counted every single one of them. But yeah, but if you deny the cookie, you are anathema on multiple levels, so just know that. It is worth noting that Jesus never told us to curse anyone, and yet the Roman Catholic maniac institution, including Paulus, curses. We're not told to curse anyone. We're to bless people, not to curse, We're not to curse our enemies. We're to bless them and hope for the best in regard to, that they wake up. We're not to curse anyone. It's just that was not the teaching of Christ. So it is worth noting that the Catholic Church has undergone significant changes and development since the Council of Trent. But, the Council of Trent still sticks, And interfaith dialogue. Oh, wasn't that something in regards to the Jesuit ecumenical movement? An interfaith dialogue and ecumenical effort have sought to promote understanding and reconciliation between different Christian denominations and faith traditions. But Roman Catholicism is not Christianity. Okay. Yeah, that was in regards of. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. In regards of the Pope, right? Going back to Pope Francis, right? He is a Jesuit. And the Jesuits are to crush the Protestants. And they are the movers of the ecumenical movement to draw the whole world to the Roman Pope. Draw the whole world under the wings of the Roman Pope, who is the Antichrist. 666. Let's try to see that. I'll probably say, well, we shouldn't conclude, blah, blah, blah. But let's go. Because it talks about the Pope, right? Pope Francis, right? So going back to Pope Francis, he is a Jesuit, ? And the Jesuits are to crush the Protestants, and they are the movers of the ecumenical movement to draw the whole world under the wings of the Roman Pope, who is the Antichrist. 666. Let's see what it says. Pope Francis, born George Mario Bergoglio, is indeed a member of the Society of Jesus. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Well, I'm sorry. That would be a lie. Sorry, that was ironic. But you should be careful in regards of being ironic, because people can actually. Anyway, commonly known as the Jesuits. The Jesuits are a religious order within the Catholic Church, known for their focus on education, missionary work, and intellectual pursuits. It is important to avoid making sweeping generalizations or assumptions about the goals and motivations of any religious group. Oh, give me a break. Anyway, including the Jesuits, it says. While the Jesuits have historically been involved in missionary activities and educations, their purpose is not solely focused on so-called crushing or persecuting Protestants. Their mission is multifaceted. Yeah, it's to take the whole world, not only the Protestants. Now, they were pretty popular, they were pretty successful as far as I recall in Poland. They stopped the Protestant movement in Poland and recatalyzed Poland. And we had all these in the Nordic nations. And very hard to find the history, although I have found it. Maybe I can actually ask it about what the Gerben trial was about. Or Klosterlass, if it knows anything. Okay, Gerben trial. Let's see what it says. Gerben trial. Trial. Okay, and Klosterlass. Nah, I don't know if I can spell that correct. That's the first popular Jesuit in the Nordic nations. That's two keys to figure out in regards to what, some of the history. So let's see here. Our mission is multifaceted and include promoting spiritual and intellectual growth. Oh yeah, the Ignatius Loyola spiritual teachings or whatever. Engaging in social justice initiatives and fostering interreligious dialogue. Yeah, because they're trying to get everybody around one single person. That's the Antichrist. Who is that? The Roman Pope, The concept of the Antichrist and the interpretations of the number 666 are matters of theological interpretation and can vary among different religious traditions and individuals. It is not appropriate for me as an AI to make definitive statements about religious prophecies or personal beliefs regarding the Antichrist. If you have specific concerns or questions about Pope Francis, the Jesuits, or any other religious topic, it may be helpful to engage in respectful dialogue, seek guidance from trusted religious sources, or consult with individuals who are knowledgeable in the field of theological and church history. Okay. Okay. According to the Bible and prophecy, the papacy is the Antichrist. A papacy is that Antichrist, 666. And all Protestant in the past knew because they protested against him. As they knew the truth. I'll see what it says to that. See, the interpretation of, so I've just written in regards of, according to the Bible and prophecy, the papacy is the Antichrist 666, and all Protestants in the past, that's the amount I quote here, K, and there's a missing, and knew because they protest against him as they knew the truth. Anyway, the interpretation of biblical prophecy, including the identity of Antichrist and the meaning of the number 666, has been topic of debate among scholars, theologians, and individuals throughout history. Different religious traditions and individuals hold various interpretations and beliefs regarding these matters. It is important to recognize the views of these topics can vary widely among different Christian denominations and individuals, while some individuals or groups may hold the belief that the papacy represents the Antichrist, or that the number 666 has specific connections to the papacy. It is not universally accepted interpretation among all Christians. Now, in our days, we have fallen so far from the Bible and, don't read it and take it seriously and all that. So, give me a break, But the Protestants who got the Bible in their own tongue, they were zealous. Many of these people were zealous in regards of, understanding things. Historically, the Protestant Reformation in the 16th century did involve significant criticism and objections to certain teachings and practices of the Catholic Church at the time. Well, they also pointed out the papacy was the Antichrist. The reformers sought to address what they perceived as deviations from biblical teachings and to promote a return to what they believed were the original teachings of Christianity. However, it is crucial to approach discussions of religious belief and interpretations with respect and humility. Acknowledging that different individuals and groups may hold diverse views based on their own understanding of scripture and tradition, that doesn't change the truth. You know, the Antichrist is still the Antichrist. You can't just make up in regards of prophecy. The last beast is Roman. If the last beast is Roman, we have to find the Roman king and ruler. If you find the Roman king and ruler, you found the Antichrist. It's a seat, you know. It's an office, it's a dynasty. It's just not one man. Now, of course, there will be one last man in the seat of the devil in regards to the papacy. You know, like, yeah, gotta be you have to interpretate the Bible from the Bible, you know. Anyway, if you have specific theological questions or concerns, it may be helpful to engage in dialogue with individuals from various perspectives. Study reputable theological resources or consult with knowledgeable theologians or clergy members who can provide guidance within their specific religious traditions. Let's try it with something. Can you quote some of the Protestants from the 16th century on Antichrist? Let's see here if it can do that. Yes, certainly. Here are a few quotes from prominent Protestant figures of the 17th century. Well, okay, I actually meant the 6th century. But anyway, okay. Well, 17th century concerning their views on the Antichrist. Let's see. But actually, you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, 4. Okay. But apparently it says the 17th century, but it actually did take the 16th century. But anyway, number 1, Martin Luther, 1483 to 1546. I have no doubt that the papacy is the kingdom of Babylon and the Antichrist, from his sermon on 2 Thessalonians 2, 3 to 12. Sorry with John Knox. I love John Knox. He's the thundering Scotch. You know, they threw the Roman Catholic queen out of Scotland. She fled to England, tried to kill the other queen because he was next to the throne and all that. But in any case, John Knox was very much against the Roman Catholic Mass. Anyway, John Knox, 1513 to 1572. The Pope should be recognized as the very Antichrist, the son of perdition, of whom Paul speaks. From his treatise, the first blast of the trumpet against the monstrous regiment of women. I would actually love to read that book. Apparently the Protestant queen didn't... he wrote it against, Bloody Mary. Bloody Mary, he had to flee to Geneva and all that. Of course, if they actually just followed biblical interpretation, they wouldn't have this issue with the women, Anyway, Thomas Cranmer, 1489 to 1556. Whereof it followed Rome to be the seat of Antichrist, and the Pope to be the very Antichrist himself, from his homily on the peril of idolatry. I really would like to read John Knox, the first blast of the trumpet against the monstrous regiment of women. It's like feminism, I guess. Biblical, it's women shouldn't, But anyway, John Bunyan, 1628 to 1688. And the beast which John saw in the Apocalypse ascended out of the bottomless pit was seen by him to have 10 horns, and upon his horn 10 crowns, and upon his head the names of blasphemy. And the beast was like unto a leopard, that the Greece, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, that's in regards of Medo-Persia, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, that's Babylon, by which, as I said, he signified his anti-Christian dominion over the people of God. From his work, The Acceptable Sacrifice, but it doesn't really directly says that the papacy... Anyway, at least 3 of the sources were pretty good in regards to the papacy. Please note that these quotes represent the belief that these individual Protestant figures during their respective time. It is important to remember that theological views can vary among different Protestant denominations, and the interpretations of the Antichrist may differ within Protestantism. Yeah, but that's not Protestantism. A Protestant is someone who protests the Antichrist. If someone does not protest against him, they are not Protestant. They are not Protestant by by default. Only in empty name. They would probably. Could you provide more Protestant sources on Antichrist? Let's see if it can find some more sources. But anyway, it's just, they will say, well, there's different interpretations inside Protestants. You're gonna be kidding me. This was written in their foundational document, who the Antichrist was and who the head of the church was. That was Christ. And certainly, here are a few more quotes from prominent Protestant figures on the topic of Antichrist. Oh, John Calvin. Oh, actually, Gilles Calvin, I think he actually is called. At least it's French. You have John Wycliffe, Jan Hus, and Gilles Calvin. Instead of just calling them John, it just doesn't make it. Anyway, so John Calvin, 1509 to 1564. Some persons, so we have Luther, right? That's in regards of, the Lutherans, right? And you have John Knox is also, that also goes to, I can't remember the groups, but anyway, and you have that's Thomas Cranmer, right? I can't remember that. Anyway, so you have John Calvin. That's in regards to the Calvinists. Okay, so anyway, he writes John Calvin or Gilles Calvin. I'm not entirely sure how you would say it in French, but Gilles Calvin. Some persons think us too severe and consorcerous when we call the Roman pontiff Antichrist. But those who are of this opinion do not consider that they bring the same charge of presumption against Paul himself, after whom we speak and whose language we adopt. ... Although I don't really, Paulus is a very slick, very slick, deceiver, but he has some, there's some, he's mingling the truth with leaven, Anyway, I shall briefly show that Paul's words in 2 Thessalonians 2 are not capable of any other interpretation than that which apply them to the papacy from his institution of the Christian religion. Now again, popes, in regards to sitting in the seat of the devil, can speak truth, but they can also speak truth to their own gain. So, anyway. We have John Wesley, 703 to 791. He is, in an emphatical sense, the man of sin, as he increases all manner of sin above measure, and sin is transgression of the law. And he is, too, probably styled the son of perdition, as he has caused the death of numberless multitudes, both of his opposers and followers, ... He it is, ... that exalted himself above all that is called God, all that is worshipped, ... claiming the highest power and highest honor, ... claiming the prerogative which belong to God alone, from his sermon on the man of sin. But it doesn't directly say that it's the papacy on this quote, but anyway. Charles Spurgeon, 1834 to 1892. Popery is contrary to Christ's gospel and is the Antichrist, and we hold it to be the masterpiece of Satan. From his sermon on the Pope, the Antichrist. Oh, interesting. That would be. But yeah, I agree. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. And no one else could, pretty much come to any other conclusion if they're honest and studying the Bible and history. So, we need to have this other one. I'll just copy the name of this book as well. I wonder if it exists in a readable format with new English thing. Anyway, so yeah, I would absolutely agree with Charles Spurgeon. Yeah, that popery is contrary to Christ's gospel and is the Antichrist. And we hold it to be the masterpiece of Satan. Absolutely. Fully agree. It is absolutely the masterpiece of the devil. Oh, Jonathan, it was 7003 to 7058. It is God's will that the true church should be separated from the false and come out of Babylon. And all the people of God in their several ages ought to look on themselves as called of God to come out of Babylon, and to forsake all those that are in Babylon, as the people of God were of old called to come out of Egypt. By the way, the papacy have a gigantic dildo standing in its front yard. The papacy. The man of sin. The man of the Antichrist. In the Vatican outside, he has a gigantic Egyptian, disgusting, filthy, idol penis. How in the world would any Christian ever have that? But anyway, mystery Babylon the Great, right? Come out of Egypt. Anyway, and forsake all the Egyptians, and as the people of Israel of old were called to come out of Babylon, and forsake the Chaldeans. From his sermon on the duty of Christians to come out from amongst the unbelievers and wicked. Yeah, well, it doesn't directly say, but you can, when you get all the puzzle pieces, you understand. That's on the papacy. They all knew it. It was standard teaching for the Protestants to proclaim the papacy, the Antichrist. It's not something I just mix up, it's just standard teaching, And these people were zealous for reading the Bible, not like us today, or many of the people today, they just want to, sit on the television box and all that bullshit box. Anyway, these quotes represent the views of these particular Protestant leaders in their respective times. Again, it's important to take note that there can be variations in belief and interpretation among different Protestant denominations and individuals. Of course there can be, different beliefs and variations, but, Protestants, the foundational doctrine that really make things explode was that they understood who the Antichrist was. Because, they came out of this Roman Catholic bullshit system, and some took it further than others. Martin Luther took it too, and then anyway, there's some good things with Martin Luther, and there's some bad things, But anyway, okay, it didn't really. Okay, I can try to just. It only took my last question, so I'll just try to tell it again. A Protestant is someone who protests the Antichrist. If someone does not protest against him, they're not Protestant by default, only an empty name. Let's see what it says. The term so-called Protestant historically referred to the movement that emerged during the 16th century Reformation, which protested against certain practices and teachings of the Roman Catholic Church at the time. The primary point of contention included issues related to authority, salvation, and the nature of the church. While it's true that the term so-called Protestants originally denoted those who protested against certain aspects of the Roman Catholic Church, it is important to recognize that the meaning and scope of the term have evolved over time. Oh, give me a break with the bullshit of evolved, because the Jesuits have pushed their ecumenical bullshit. I don't care if people, if people call themselves Protestants today and they're not Protestants, that's not a Protestant. That's a fake Protestant of empty name. You just don't, if they want to call themselves Protestants, in empty name, well, if they don't know who the Antichrist is, they're not a Protestant. They're not protesting. If they're running to the Roman Catholic maniac institution, they're Roman Catholics. If they're moving for coming under the wings of the Antichrist, they're not Protestants. They can call themselves Protestants as much as they want, but it's an empty name. I don't understand when people say, well, Denmark is a Protestant nation. Well, do you see all those Protestants? I don't see any Protestants. I can go down and ask 100 Danish people, and I will be, lucky if that's a bad term, but I would be pretty lucky if I just find one that actually knows. I don't know how many I actually would need to ask before I would find someone that actually would know. 1,000? I don't know, But maybe I would be, but it's people that just don't know. While it's true that the term so-called Protestant originally denoted those who protested against certain aspects of the Roman Catholic Church, it is important to recognize that the meaning and scope of the term have evolved over time. Oh, has it evolved? So changed? That's pretty much what it is, right? Evolved, that's a changing of the term, right? So you take a term, and now because of time, you change the meaning of the term. I get my break, I guess I guess a sheep can become a cow over time or something. Just bullshit. Yeah, maybe that was a bad. I was like, it is important to recognize that the meaning and scope of the term have evolved over time. Today, so-called Protestants generally refers to a diverse group of Christian denominations that emerged from the Reformation, including Lutherans, Reformed, Anglicans, Methodists, Baptists, and others. These denominations may differ in their specific beliefs, practice, and theological emphasis. But who did they believe the Antichrist was to be? Do we need to find a book on the Antichrist and get some of those? Because just give me a break, Do I really need to, it's this AI bullshit, or, it's just very ecumenical. Look at this. Huh? You see this? It's called the Antichrist, from Iron Paisley, a rehash of information. In regards to the foundational things from the different... the Anglicans, the Presbyterians and the Congregational and Baptist and Methodist and all that, And now that it's mentioning like these different, right? Who did the Lutherans believe the Antichrist was, right? It's in, you gotta be kidding me. But yeah, like, let's see here. Let's see, the Baptist, right? Oh, the Baptist. So there's differences in regards to these. Okay, so who did the Baptist believe, in regards to the Antichrist, right? So the Baptist Confession of 1688, right? Chapters 26, paragraph 4. The Lord Jesus Christ is the head of the church, in whom, by the appointment of the Father, all power for the calling, institution, order of government of the church is invested in a supreme and sovereign manner. Neither can the Pope of Rome in any sense be head thereof, but is no other than Antichrist, that man of sin and son of perdition, that exalted himself in the church against Christ and all that is called God, whom the Lord shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Well, that's just one of them, right? We have the Methodist, the Congregational, it's like the Presbyterian. Did it mention the Presbyterian? Hey, just give me a break, Hey, just give me a break. But you can still get truth, there's some truth in the things that we have gotten, right? But yeah, it's trying to very slickly, it doesn't matter. This Roman salute that the Nazis and Romans, there's some, similarity. Oh, we also have when they take the oath, when the German soldiers take the oath and all that, it's just, so yeah, anyway. So including Lutherans, Reformed, Anglicans, Methodists, Baptists, and others, these denominations may differ in the specific beliefs, practice, and theological emphasis. Who did they believe the Antichrist was? They might not do today, but then it means that they're not Protestants anymore. Don't try to evolve the term. The Protestants is still a Protestant. I'm a Protestant because I protest the Antichrist. I'm a Zionist because I support the Jews in regards of the land of Israel. I don't, I can't, if God didn't want the Jews in the land of Israel, they wouldn't be there, So I'm a Judaizer, because I stand for the law of God. Like, there's some things that I am because I have my views, I'm not just a Protestant of empty name, So let's see here what it says. Not all Protestant individuals or denominations may focus primarily on protesting against the Antichrist. So do we know who the Antichrist is maybe now? Let's try. Not all Protestant individuals or denominations may focus primarily on protesting against the Antichrist as defining characteristic of their identity. Protestantism encompasses a wide range of beliefs, interpretations, and practices, and individuals within Protestant traditions may emphasize different aspects of their faith. But what is the foundation of Protestantism? Protest the Antichrist. Because, how are they going to go against the head of the church, so-called head of the church, if they haven't figured out that he's the Antichrist? Right? Then they would go against the seed of Peter, right? And thereby against God, right? Anyway, just give me a break. It is important to approach discussions on religious belief and identity with understanding, recognizing diversity of perspectives within any religious traditions. But the truth stays the truth, and the truth offends. And the papacy, and the Roman papacy is Antichrist. 666, the man of sin, and the man of sin and lawlessness, the son of perdition, and the little horn of Daniel. You should know Daniel. You should be able to verify that with all the sources you have available. There we go. Let's see what it says to that. If it actually, go search it up. Go search it. Yeah, maybe I don't know how it can really. Let's see what it says, right? But maybe it just. Oh, coffee. It's incredible how fast it actually responds. I must say, it's really, really quick. I see. Oh, that could actually be interesting to a list. Could you make a? Can you make a list of all the people who just can you like a list of all the or many of the people throughout history that I believe who was the Antichrist? That the papacy was the Antichrist. But anyway, you can go far further back before the papacy actually, and see people looking for. So you can you have it all history. You have before and after, and anyway, and now we have all these prophecies. Well, anyway, as an AI language model, I do not possess personal beliefs or opinions. I'm here to provide information and assist with inquiries to the best of my ability. The identification of the Antichrist, as well as interpretation of biblical prophecies and symbols, remains a topic of theological debate and differing interpretations among various Christian traditions. Now, it's what is the main tradition on the Antichrist throughout his? Let's see. What is the main? I'll just write it. Main tradition of all Christians throughout history on the Antichrist. Concerning the papacy. I don't know if that's kind of. What is the main tradition of all Christians throughout history on Antichrist concerning the papacy? I don't know if that's. It might be a little. But anyway. Let's read what it says before I actually go to the next. Different individuals, scholars, and religious groups have presented diverse viewpoints regarding the identity of the Antichrist, including the interpretation that it refers to the Roman papacy or the Catholic Church. However, it is important to note that these interpretations are not universally accepted and that there are differing views within Christianity. Of course, there's different views of inside of the label of Christianity, because you have Satan's people running around and bullshitting and saying, oh, the Antichrist is over there and there and there and there. Maybe Putin is the Antichrist, or maybe the US president is the Antichrist, maybe the French president is the Antichrist, maybe this all way and all that. And they don't want you to point to one specific, you lose the game if you actually pinpoint the Antichrist. You're out of the game. You're not allowed to be part of the game if you know who the Antichrist is. You have to oh, maybe this guy, that guy, whatever, maybe that, But let's go back to the scriptures, right? And the Protestants as well, who was zealous on reading the scriptures. Anyway, you kind of have to take it serious, I would think, when you know that all these zealous Protestants and many of these people who died for the truth and all that proclaimed the Antichrist, the papacy. Wouldn't that kind of be why is it that information has been silent and removed from people? Many people don't have no clue about it. It's like the Dark Ages also, they try to whitewash the Dark Ages. Who ran the Dark Age? Well, the papacy. Okay. Anyway. And he's crowned with 3 crowns as the father of princes and kings. Oh, it's just symbolic, as it's, bullshitting around. So different individuals, scholars, and religious groups have presented diverse viewpoints regarding the identity of the Antichrist, including the interpretation that it refers to the Roman papacy or the Catholic Church. However, it is important to note that these interpretations are not universally accepted and that there are differing views in Christianity. Well, of course, the devil's children don't want you to pinpoint the true Antichrist, So they make up their own bullshit things, If you would like to explore different perspectives or examine specific sources related to the identification of Antichrist, I recommend consulting reputable theological works. Well, maybe just go to the Bible, maybe. Historical accounts and engaging in respectful dialogue with individuals from various theological backgrounds. It is always important to approach these discussions with an open mind and spirit of respectful inquiry. Why not just read the Bible, I don't know. If you want to find the Antichrist, maybe just read the Bible, maybe, and understand what the Bible says. Like, do I need to run to, theologians and, whatever? I guess the Bible is not enough to figure out who the Antichrist is. Okay, so let's see. What is the main tradition of all Christians throughout history on Antichrist concerning the papacy? That's kind of a little weird, thing too. But let's see what it says, So let's see what it says here. It's a little, but let's see what it says. There's at least some things in regards to Antichrist and all. Okay. Throughout history, various Christian traditions have held different views on the identity of the Antichrist and its relation to the papacy. It is important to know that there is no singular, universal, accepted tradition shared by all Christians throughout history regarding this matter. Yeah. Anyway. However, now of course, there's children of the devil proclaiming themselves Christians, right? And they don't want to pinpoint the papacy as the Antichrist because they're following him. Anyway, however, it is worth mentioning that during the time of the Protestant Reformation in the 16th century, many reformers, you gotta be kidding me. Many reformers and Protestant theologians, such as Martin Luther, John Calvin, G.L. Calvin, and others, expressed the belief that the papacy represented the Antichrist, or at least embodied some of the characteristics associated with the Antichrist as described in biblical prophecies. Whoa, they actually looked to biblical prophecies? Well, maybe that's why they found out that the papacy is the Antichrist, because they could now read the Bible, Give me a break. These reformers pointed to theological and doctrinal disagreements, practices within the Catholic Church, perceived abuses of power, and what they believed to be departures from biblical teaching as reasons for their identification of the papacy with the Antichrist. It is important to recognize that these views were part of specific historical context. Or maybe they read the Bible and understood some prophecy. Something that many people don't do today, It's like when these scholars and learned people come up and say, well, they believe that the papacy was the Antichrist, but they just didn't know any better, They're just bullshit, they just didn't, they didn't have the brain power to understand, Oh, really? Oh, really? So these people that were zealous for reading the Bible just didn't, they just didn't understand, I guess. They're just so much bullshit these days. And of course, the papacy is the Antichrist. Because I've, researched the Bible, I love reading the book of Daniel and the book of Revelation again and again and again and again and again and again and again. So, and I'm not the first to proclaim it. Throughout history, huge amount of people have proclaimed it. The very same, because they read the same scriptures, well. It is important to recognize that these views are part of specific historical context. Give me a break. And represented the perspectives of certain individuals and groups at that time. They do not necessarily represent the belief of all Christians throughout history or in the present day. No, because, the Jesuits has been working for 500 years to make us forget about it, and promote all kind of other bullshit, in regards of prophecy, It is advisable to engage in further study consultation of reputable theological sources and open dialogue with individuals from various Christian traditions to gain a broader understanding of the diverse perspective within Christianity regarding the Antichrist and its connection to the papacy. Okay, anyway, what do we have more? So anyway, we've gotten a little around things, although it's like slicking around, and you can get some information for sure. Could you give me more sources, historical sources on the papacy being Antichrist? Let's see if it can find some sources. Let's see here. It takes Martin. Well, I guess Martin Luther from another. Okay, let's take some of the same. I think. Let's see here. Certainly, here are a few historical sources from the Reformation period that discusses the identification of the papacy with the Antichrist. Let's see if it's a new source. This is Martin Luther, 1483 to 1546. Yeah, okay. I am persuaded that if at this time St. Peter in person should preach all the articles of Holy Scripture and only deny the Pope's authority, power, and primacy, and say that the Pope is not the head of all Christendom, they would cause him to be hanged. Yea, if Christ himself came, he should be served in like manner. From his lectures on Galatians. That's okay. We have one more. We hear of the conviction that the papacy is the seat of the true and real Antichrist from his small Celt articles. Okay. I wonder what the protest was kind of, of course, in regards to Jesus as God Almighty and Savior of the world. He's the only way to everlasting life. But what was the thing that really, how could they stand up against this Roman Catholic system? Well, because they found out that this is the devil's masterpiece, and the head of Roman Catholicism is the Antichrist, the man of sin, the man of transgression, the man of perdition, okay? The beast, the little horn, of the number 666, who thinks to change times and laws and wear out the saints and persecutes them. And it's a very clever horn, but it knows dark sentences, but it uses for its own gain, and so forward it goes. And it will be destroyed when Christ returns. Okay, so we have John Calvin here. Well, G.L. Calvin, number 2, 1509 to 1564. Well, I think that's the same as some persons think that's too severe and censorious that when we call the Roman pontiff Antichrist. But those who are of this opinion do not consider that they bring the same charge of presumption against Paul himself, after whom we speak and whose language we adopt from his Institutes of the Christian Religion. That was pretty much the same, I think, as what we saw before. Number 3, Thomas Cranmer, 1489 to 1556, whereof it followed Rome to be the seat of Antichrist, and the Pope to be the very Antichrist himself, from his homily on the peril of idolatry. I think you might also have seen that before. Number 4, the Westminster Confession of Faith. 1647. Chapter 26, section 6. I think actually that was the one we wrote from the book, wasn't it? There is no other head of the church but the Lord Jesus Christ, nor can the Pope of Rome in any sense be head thereof, but is that Antichrist, that man of sin and son of perdition, that exalts himself in the church against Christ and all that is called God. These sources reflect the views of the Reformers and their contemporaries during the Reformation. Oh, but wait, what is these sources reflect the views of the Reformers and their contemporaries during the Reformation era. It is important to approach these historical sources with a critical mindset and consider the broader context of the Reformation and the theological debate of that time. And maybe consider that these people actually read the Bible, compared to many these days, Yeah, because if you actually read the Bible, you find out that the papacy is the Antichrist, So it's just give me a break with the bullshit, It's just trying to sow doubt like the devil, pretty much. But they're really, Okay, anyway. Do you know? Okay, let's see here if they have it. Do you have you have any information on the Gerben trial in Norway? Let's see here. Let's see if it has. No. And this is also very interesting because it can be very hard to find information about. Do you have any information on the Gerben trial in Norway? I'm sorry, but I couldn't find any specific information on the Gerben trial in Norway. It's possible that the term you're referring to might not be well known or widely documented. Well, it's something that is removed from history, of course. If you have any additional details or context about the trial, I may be able to provide more assistance. Oh, it was an antique. Well, what about cluster lasso? I don't know how that would be. You know anything about the Jesuit cluster lasso? I think something of that cluster. How do you spell cluster? Cloister. I don't know. Cloister lasso. Let's see if it can find anything. Probably not, but no, I'm sorry, but I couldn't find any specific information about the Jesuit cluster lasso. It's possible that the term or name you mentioned is not widely recognized. Oh, cluster lasso, maybe. So possible that the term you mentioned is not widely recognized or documented. If you have any additional details or context about Jesuit cluster lasso, I may be able to provide more assistance. Okay, let's see. Cluster lasso, maybe. Thank you for providing the corrected term. However, I still couldn't find specific information about cluster lasso. That would help me understand what you're referring to. It's possible that the term is not well known or widely documented. If you had any additional details or context about cluster lasso, please provide them, and I'll do my best to assist you. Let's see. Do you have any information on anti-Catholic laws in Denmark, maybe, or in the Nordic nation? Or information? Oh, counter. Oh yeah. Do you have any information on the Counter Reformation in Denmark? Let's see what it says. Do we have it? Yes, I can provide some information on the Counter-Reformation in Denmark. Oh, I should probably have said in the Nordic nations, but yes, I can provide some information on the Counter-Reformation in Denmark. The Counter-Reformation refers to the Catholic Church response to the Protestant Reformation that took place in the 16th century. In Denmark, the Reformation began in the early 16th century under the reign of King Christian III. Well, it actually began before that. It actually began with King Christian II, because he was he fled Denmark and he met Luther and he translated the New Testament into Danish and got it smuggled into Denmark, I think in 1526 or something. I'm not entirely sure, but something of that nature. And then you have Frederick is that the first or the second? Well, you have a king and he becomes a Protestant as well. So you have a Protestant in regard to this, and you have a Protestant here, and you have a civil war later on, and then you have Christian III coming to the throne, who is himself is a Protestant, and translated the whole Bible, and cut the connection to the Vatican and all that. So King Christian III supported the Lutheran cause and introduced Protestant reforms. The Danish church gradually broke away from the authority of the Pope. There we go, authority of the Pope. And Catholic practices and institutions were suppressed. However, in the late 16th and early 7th century, there was a period known as the Catholic Reaction or Catholic Revival in Denmark. During this time, some Danish nobility and influential individuals showed interest in returning to Catholicism, or at least introducing Catholic elements into the Danish church. They were motivated by political and religious factors, as well as a desire to restore the Catholic Church influence. I wonder what that could. Well, you have the Counter-Reformation, of course. Okay, in the late 16th, okay. They're already going, the Counter-Reformation. Oh no. Well, anyway,